Chapter 2878. The primordial saints and primordial ancestors also felt their blood boil. A few of them were even injured. Their faces were abnormally gloomy. Damn it, was the other party crazy? He actually used an extreme weapon like this. Could it be that he really wanted to destroy this world? The people on Jade Lake's side also vomited large mouthfuls of blood. Their faces were filled with fear. Damn it, was he here to save the human race or to destroy the world? Their bodies trembled. The person in front of them was too powerful. He was both good and evil. Although he came for the human race, his methods were abnormally arrogant. It was as if he didn't have any scruples. Even if they destroyed this world, he wouldn't care. Such a method not only terrified the human race, but also the 10,000 ancient races, because such a person had no scruples. If they really fought, the 10,000 ancient races would probably suffer great losses. Damn it! Hurry up and stop the investiture of the gods. The Celestial Emperor Cauldron definitely couldn't let them use their extreme weapons again. The Patriarch of the Nest of 10,000 Dragons roared. The Patriarch of the Fire Chillin Cave also shouted coldly. If it really didn't work, they would use their extreme weapons. They also planned to use their third extreme weapon. There was no rush. Let's seal their extreme weapons first. We'll fight them. They have fewer people, so we don't believe that they can resist us. The 8 primordial ancestors quickly conversed. Indeed, the other party had a terrifying figure, but they had a lot of saints on their side. If they attacked together, they didn't believe that the other party could resist. Damn it, they were too shameless. Below, the Crimson Dragon and the others gritted their teeth. The white-haired demon lord snorted coldly. Attack? You're courting death. You ants aren't enough to fight in front of me. He was too arrogant. The primordial ancestors were so angry that they vomited blood crazily. The white-haired demon lord shouted coldly. With my demon blood, I'll kill my way up to the 9 heavens. Whoever wants to attack, feel free to do so. Do you think we'll fight you one-on-one? The 8 patriarchs walked up, and the 10 primordial saints did the same. A terrifying power surged out, completely enveloping Xiao Luyu and the others. Lin Xian snorted coldly, and the light around his body overflowed into the sky. Lord Jiu used the devouring sword and circled around him. Xia Juyo was like a god of the universe, and this kind of demon lord was even more terrifying. Demonic qi filled the sky as if it wanted to overturn the entire world. Who dares to stand with me? Right at this moment, another biting cold voice sounded from the sky. Then a figure descended, trampling all over the place. My saber can't wait any longer and wants to drink the saint's blood. A maniacal laughter rang out as a blue figure turned into a saber light, splitting the void. It had appeared. The human experts had appeared again. Below, the human warriors exclaimed. In this short period of time, there were too many surprises for them. First, the white-haired demon lord appeared and used the celestial Darch cauldron. Then, 2 more terrifying figures appeared. Not only that, but they were also very powerful. A third powerful figure had also arrived. As soon as she appeared, countless forests appeared in the sky. With a wave of her hand, the injured people in the fairy lake were instantly healed. Heavens, how miraculous! My injuries have actually recovered. Who was this person? She was a life-type saint. The others cried out in alarm as they felt an abundance of power. Lin Xian felt that the power in his body had also recovered. In fact, even the soul of the 9 suns' divine body had become slightly stronger. This made him happy, but he couldn't care less about it now. His eyes were fixed on the figures in front of him. One of them had descended powerfully, trampling all over the place. Father, is that you? Lin Xian shouted. He realized that he was too familiar with this figure. It was his father, Lin Zhan. What? When this voice sounded, everyone was stunned. The humans and the 10,000 ancient races were all stunned. Father? Among these figures, Lin Xian's father was actually among them. It can't be. Lin Xian actually has such a great background. His father was an incomparably terrifying saint. The experts of the human race were all stunned. The people from the 10,000 ancient races were even more terrified. This brat was too strange. He was powerful, and he knew Xiajiao, Lord Alcohol, and this new expert. A total of 6 figures had appeared, and 3 of them were related to this kid. Damn it, this kid's future achievements were probably limitless. They had to think of a way to get rid of him. These primordial saints looked at Lin Xian with murderous eyes. The imposing figure turned his head and looked at Lin Xian with a smile. Xian, you've really grown up. You can stand on your own now. Father. Lin Xian walked up excitedly, his eyes red. Lin Zhan smiled. Now wasn't the time to talk. After defeating the 10,000 ancient races, let's have a good drink. All right. Lin Xian clenched his fists. Let's join forces and defeat these 10,000 ancient races. She was extremely excited. She didn't expect to see not only Lord Alcohol here, but also her father. At the same time, she was extremely surprised. Her father and Lord Alcohol seemed to know each other, and their relationship wasn't ordinary. What was going on? Her father was just an ordinary cultivator previously. Although he was powerful, that was only in the Tianwu domain. But now he had actually become an indomitable and powerful saint. And it seemed that he had been carrying out a secret mission with Lord Alcohol and the others. Lin Xian felt that his father and the others seemed to be preparing a shocking plan, but he didn't know what it was. Perhaps this plan would affect the safety of the human race. Of course, now wasn't the time to ask. Lin Zhan turned his head and looked at the 8 barons. His loud voice sounded. I'm Lin Zhan. Who dares to stand against me? You overestimate yourselves. Do you really think you can go against us? Without an apex weapon, the human race is nothing. On the opposite side, a figure walked up from among the 8 patriarchs. It was the patriarch of the Silver Clan. The Silver Clan was extremely powerful. They were from the primordial royal race, and they were known as the uncrowned kings. It was said that the Silver Clan was known as the strongest royal race below the royal race. So at this moment, when their patriarch walked out, the human race held their breaths. He was too powerful. This was definitely an earth-shattering figure. Yes, their bloodline power was said to be terrifying. Would that Lin Zhan be able to withstand it? Now, the 4 apex weapons from both sides were facing each other. They didn't use them. Instead, these saints were prepared to fight personally. Lin Zhan looked at the other party and snorted. The Silver Clan? Fine. Let me see if your title of uncrowned king is as powerful as the legends say. Lin Zhan strode out. You will see it for yourself. However, the price you will pay is your life. The Silver Clan's patriarch also walked out. This patriarch's body emitted a silver light. His entire body seemed to be made of silver, and he exuded a heavy aura. His physique was strong to an unparalleled extent. To be honest, my target isn't you. It's your kid. He has the 9-yang divine body. It's rumored that the 9-yang divine body has unparalleled strength and a strong physique. I really want to fight with him. But don't worry after killing you and your son. I will let you and your son reunite in the netherworld. The Silver Clan's patriarch's cold voice sounded. In the next moment, runes appeared under his feet. Silver-white Dao runes also appeared on his body. Terrifying divine chains of order danced in the air. Accompanied by his fist, he punched forward. So powerful. The 7 human race saints from the Jade Lake sacred ground had already flown up to assist Xiajiao, the demon ancestor, and the others. But at this moment, when they felt this punch, their expressions changed and they retreated frantically. They didn't dare to take it head-on. They had no choice. Before the punch arrived, just the aura brought by the nomological laws had already caused their bodies to crack. This punch would definitely be able to kill them instantly. In the field, the demon ancestor Xiajiao, Lord Alcohol, and the others also moved and flew into the sky. They watched the battle silently and weren't very nervous. Lin Xian was a little nervous. Although he knew that his father was very powerful, the other party was even more terrifying than the Silver Clan. Especially now that the one who attacked was the Silver Clan's patriarch. He was indeed sweating in his heart. Chapter 2879. Feeling the power of this punch, Lin Zhan also snorted coldly. His eyes lit up. An aura that could suppress the surroundings surged from his body. A loud roar shook the heavens and earth. Lin Zhan also waved his fist. His fist didn't have a resplendent glow. It was simple and unadorned. He just pushed it forward. Boom! With a loud bang, the heavens collapsed and the earth cracked. The silver runes in the sky cracked. That terrifying silver fist was torn into pieces. Silver-white blood danced in the sky, piercing through the void. The old ancestor of the Bai clan retreated and groaned. He was injured. The old ancestor of the Bai clan was actually injured. How was this possible? The other primordial saints and the other 7 ancient ancestors were all stunned. They didn't dare to believe it at all. That was the Bai clan. Their physique was extremely strong, and they were known as the uncrowned king. It was even rumored that they weren't weaker than the 3 royal families. Such a terrifying physique. But now he was actually injured by a single punch. Damn it! Who exactly was this man in front of them? Impossible. The primordial kings below screamed miserably. The old ancestor of the Bai clan retreated and stabilized his body. His body trembled slightly, and he was extremely shocked. He was actually injured in the battle with the other party. The humans were also dumbfounded. The 7 saints, the Queen Mother of the West, the Yi family, and the others were all shocked. They had seen and recorded the strength of the Silver Clan. But what about now? Lin Zhan injured him with a single punch. For a moment, the scene was extremely silent. Even Lin Xian was shocked. Father is so powerful. He's actually not weaker than my phenomenal success divine body. Indeed, he realized that the power that Lin Zhan displayed now was too heaven-defying. It was far beyond his imagination. What exactly had his father experienced all these years? Or was his father a super expert to begin with? Lin Xian didn't know. Suddenly, he thought of the sword-shaped pendant that his father had given him before. It was also extremely mysterious. Could it be that his father had endless secrets on him? In front, Lin Zhan retracted his fist. His cold voice sounded. Bai clan, you're not my match. You're courting death. I'm going to kill you. The silver ancestor was furious. Earlier, he didn't think too highly of the other party, so he didn't use his full strength in that punch, resulting in him suffering a loss. At this moment, he was going to use all of his strength to kill him. He wanted to use the other party's blood to wash away his humiliation. 1,000 hands of silver. With a roar, silver laws danced in the air. This time, the power he used was many times stronger than before. That was because his killing intent had been aroused. He had to kill the other party. In front of him, silver divine chains intertwined with each other. Terrifying silver laws danced as if gods and demons had appeared between heaven and earth. Ka. The silver ancestor's body continued to grow. Not only that, silver arms appeared on his back. It was extremely terrifying. There were at least 1,000 of them. The 1,000 silver arms danced in the air like demons. Terrifying saintly aura filled the sky. Kill! With a furious roar, 1,000 arms burst forth at the same time, bringing along divine chains of laws that filled the sky, suppressing forward. What kind of method was this? It was too terrifying. The experts on the human side were terrified. The primordial king of the Bai clan laughed sinisterly. 1,000 hands of silver. Our ancestor is angry. Humans, just wait for your death. I'll let you know our strength. This was the ultimate technique of the Bai clan. With 1,000 hands, it could kill the primordial ancestors of the other clans. It could be said to be extremely powerful. They didn't believe that the middle-aged man on the other side could block it. Fine, I'll let you see my true strength. Lin Jian also took a step forward. Light erupted from his body, spewing out a domineering aura. At this moment, he was as strong as an ancient overlord. He was extremely powerful. Tyrant fist of the heavens. With a punch, he suppressed heaven and earth and destroyed all the laws in the world. He wanted to destroy the entire world. What a terrifying aura. The bodies of the primordial saints trembled, and deep fear appeared in their eyes. They felt that just this aura alone was enough to crush them. Damn it, who exactly was the other party? Tyrant Fist of the Heavens was an extremely terrifying fist technique. It had an incomparable domineering aura and was very difficult to cultivate. This person could actually cultivate it to such an extent. Damn it, he was definitely a super strong expert. They were extremely terrified. As expected, once the Tyrant Fist of the Heavens was unleashed, it had an incomparable domineering aura that swept out in all directions. It engaged in a great battle with 1,000 silver hands. The two of them exchanged blows, causing the world to collapse. They fought from here all the way to the outer realm. With a loud bang, the void above the 9 heavens split open. A huge crack was like a divine sword that split the entire world into 2. At the next moment, silver blood splattered everywhere. The 1,000 silver barks exploded. The patriarch of the Bayin clan also fell from the outer realm. He was extremely miserable. He roared angrily, and his body reassembled. However, it was once again shattered by Lin Jian's punch. What? The patriarch of the Bayin clan was actually defeated. How was this possible? Wasn't the other party too powerful? Who exactly was the other party? How could Lin Xian's father be so terrifying? Could it be that the other party was also a mysterious expert from a terrifying clan? They were all stunned. Lin Jian landed. His clothes fluttered, and his domineering aura remained. I've said it before. You're not my match. Step back, I'll attack. Another patriarch walked out. His figure was like a demon king, and his body carried a terrifying aura. The pair of golden wings behind his back covered the sky. He was from the Heavenly Rock clan. This was an extremely ferocious clan among the ancient royal clans, the Heavenly Rock clan. It was said that this clan had once challenged the dragon race and even succeeded in slaying a dragon. They could be said to be extremely powerful. Among the 10,000 ancient races, they weren't any weaker than the Bayin clan. At this moment, the Heavenly Rock clan's patriarch walked out. I'll fight you. He could tell that Lin Jian was very powerful, but he wasn't afraid. The Heavenly Rock clan was extremely powerful. They could definitely kill Lin Jian. Lin Jian's eyes glinted coldly. Bring it on. Do you think I'm afraid of you? However, before he attacked, the white-haired demon lord floated out. Leave this battle to me. All right then. Seeing the white-haired demon lord, Lin Jian nodded and stepped back. He stood with his hands behind his back. A mere heavenly rock. I'll give you a chance to live. Kneel at my feet and become my slave. I can spare your life. The white-haired demon lord was even more domineering and arrogant. He didn't care about the Heavenly Rock clan's patriarch at all. You're courting death. The Heavenly Rock clan's patriarch was enraged. He roared angrily. His black hair fluttered wildly, and his golden wings covered the sky. They transformed into 2 heavenly blades that slashed over with the great Tao. You want to attack me? You're overestimating yourself. The demon lord's white hair fluttered. He was like a demon god as he walked forward. He punched out. Demonic aura surged from his body. His fist transformed into 6 black holes that seemed to want to devour everything. These 6 black holes were too terrifying. They were different from Lord Alcohol's devouring sword. They were like 6 worlds. They carried an extremely mysterious aura as they quickly charged over. Chapter 2880. What kind of fist technique was this? It was so terrifying. The 10,000 ancient races and the ancient ancestors were shocked. It was as if they were about to be annihilated by the six worlds. The expression of the Tianpeng race's ancestor also changed. He didn't expect the other party's fist technique to be so profound. However, it was already too late for him to retreat. He could only wave his two golden wings crazily, transforming them into two heavenly blades that carried the great Tao as they descended. He wanted to shatter the other party's fist with one strike. With a boom, the heavens collapsed and the earth cracked. 6 black holes shrouded the golden wings. In the sky, the laws collided and the great Tao interweaved, forming a scene of destruction. Boom, boom, boom. The 6 black worlds spun rapidly, forming a terrifying force that tore apart the golden wings. Blood dyed the sky red as the golden wings were split in half. The Tianpeng race's saint was sent flying, spitting out large mouthfuls of blood. His face was filled with shock. Damn it, how is this possible? How is it impossible? Die! The white-haired demon lord's figure flickered as he waved his fist again, bringing along the 6 worlds as he charged over. Damn it, the Tianpeng's extreme speed. The pupils of the Tianpeng race's ancestor constricted. The other party's fist technique was too powerful. Even the golden wings that he was so proud of were cut off. Even if it hit him, it would most likely shatter him into pieces. Moreover, he didn't expect the other party to be so powerful. After succeeding in one strike, he continued to chase after him. The Tianpeng's movement technique was extremely fast. Even the saints couldn't see him clearly. They could only see a blurry light. However, the demon lord sneered. The 6 black worlds instantly expanded, enveloping the entire world. No matter how fast you are, can you escape my reincarnation? Kill. The 6 black worlds continued to expand, forming 6 skies that covered the entire world. It was as if their true spirit world was connected to 6 incomparably mysterious worlds. This scene was extremely terrifying. Damn it! As expected, the Tianpeng race's ancestor couldn't escape from the 6 worlds at all. In the next moment, he was torn apart by the 6 mysterious forces, and his body was torn apart. Ah! The Tianpeng race's ancestor screamed crazily as his body reformed in the distance. However, he was soon shattered again. One world after another descended, beating the Tianpeng race's ancestor until he screamed again and again. Damn it, this is impossible. The ancient sages were terrified, and the 10,000 ancient races screamed. The immemorial king of the sky rock race knelt on the ground, his eyes bleeding. They were about to go crazy. Their ancestor had been defeated so miserably and was even about to be killed. They couldn't believe it. The humans were also stunned. They were too powerful. These new human experts were each more powerful than the last. Previously, Lin Zhan's tyrant firmament fist had already shocked them, indomitable and domineering. But now they realized that this white-haired demon lord was even more terrifying. When he punched out, it was as if he had created 6 real worlds. Even the Sky Rock's ancestor, who was so powerful, had been killed several times. If not for the saint's blood rebirth, Patriarch Tianpeng would have been killed long ago. Even so, they were still terrified. What kind of fist technique was this? This was too terrifying. Leaf Daudenier and the clan leader of the Yi clan looked on in shock. The saint of the Yi clan let out a shriek. 6 Das reincarnation fist. This is my Yi clan's peerless fist technique. How did he know it? What? 6 paths of reincarnation fist. This is the 6 Das reincarnation fist? The other sacred leaders and sect leaders were also stunned. They didn't dare to believe it. The 6 Das reincarnation fist was extremely terrifying. It was a secret technique of the Yi clan that wasn't passed down to outsiders. It was a top divine ability. Leaf Daudenier had cultivated this technique before, and could use it against someone in the same level as him. Not many people could contend against it. And now, the white-haired demon lord actually knew how to use the Yi clan's divine fist. What was going on? Damn it. What was his relationship with the Yi clan? Previously, the other party could directly use the Celestial Emperor Cauldron. Now, he even used the Yi clan's 6 Das reincarnation fist. He couldn't be from the Yi clan, right? When these words came out, everyone was shocked and their scalps went numb. Could it be that this was really the case? They looked at the Yi clan. The clan leader of the Yi clan and Leif Daudenier were confused. The saint of the Yi clan was indeed shocked. Was it really him? Could it really be him? Ancestor, what was going on? The clan leader of the Yi clan asked in a deep voice. Although he was the clan leader, he had only been in power for 1,000 years. He didn't know about things that happened a long time ago. This saint was different. He obviously knew more. Leif Daudenier was even more shocked. Looking at the expression of their ancestor, could it be that this white-haired demon lord was really from the Yi clan? Heavens! How could someone from the Yi clan become a demon? Perhaps it really was that person, but it was impossible. It was rumored that he had already fallen. How could he appear again? The Yi clan saint's expression was incomparably solemn. This made everyone even more curious. What was the identity of this white-haired demon lord? What was his relationship with the Yi clan? However, this was no longer important. That was because a loud sound had attracted everyone's attention. In the sky, 6 worlds of reincarnation mercilessly crushed, killing the Heavenly Rock Ancestor 6 times. The Heavenly Rock Ancestor went crazy. A golden halberd rushed out of his body and swept in all directions. Only then did he escape. This halberd was an unparalleled sacred weapon. At this moment, the Heavenly Rock Ancestor used it to kill his way out. After coming out, his body trembled. His face was filled with fear, shock, anger, and humiliation. He had his body shattered 6 times. This was something he had never experienced before. He felt that it was a great humiliation. However, he didn't dare to make another move because the other party was too terrifying. Those 6 black holes were like real worlds. He couldn't shatter them at all. If he attacked again, he was afraid that he would shatter even more. He might even be killed by the other party. What heavenly rock? It was nothing more than this. Obediently become my mount. The demon lord was very domineering. He strode over as if he was about to attack again. You're courting death. The Heavenly Rock Ancestor was furious. Although the other party was powerful, the other party kept saying that he wanted to take him as a flying mount. How could he endure this? In the next moment, he waved the golden halberd in his hand and directly slashed out. This golden halberd was extremely terrifying. It was left behind by an extremely terrifying saint of the Heavenly Rock clan. At this moment, a golden light shot into the clouds, cutting the entire sky open. Clang! However, it was sent flying by the white-haired demon lord's 6-path reincarnation fist. Damn it! Everyone attacked together and kill them. The Heavenly Rock Ancestor roared crazily. He wasn't a match for the other party in a one-on-one battle, but they had more people on their side. As expected, in the next moment, the other primordial saints and ancient ancestors couldn't help but attack. Do you think I'm afraid of you? The demon lord let out a long roar. Terrifying demonic energy covered the 9 heavens, forming 3,000 demonic shadows in the sky. I'm the demon lord. I'll laugh at the world. A terrifying voice resounded. The 3,000 demonic shadows accompanied the demon lord's 6-path reincarnation fist and charged out together. If you want to fight, I'll accompany you to the end. Lin Zhan also took a step forward and executed the tyrant fist of the heavens. On the other side, Xiajiao had sublimated to the extreme. The aura on his body was biting cold as he struck out 2 universes. Lin Xian didn't use any laws, but the power of a greater success divine body was incomparable. He directly entered close combat and killed his way into the primordial saints, sweeping in all directions. In the end, The Saber Saint's long saber was unparalleled. The elf girl struck out laws that filled the sky, helping the human saints recover. She controlled a world and provided a powerful vitality. In an instant, the holy war erupted. It was extremely terrifying. Let's go to the outer realm. The primordial saints roared angrily. The demon lord's black hair fluttered. A black dragon roared beneath his feet, bringing him directly into the sky. These saint-level experts had all fought their way to the outer realm. A great battle erupted, and heaven and earth erupted. Below, the experts of the 10,000 ancient races and the human race trembled. They looked up at the sky. The sky was flickering, and large cracks would erupt from time to time. It was obvious that an extremely terrifying and tragic battle had erupted in the outer realm. Chapter 2881. It's too scary. Will we be able to withstand it? The human race will definitely be able to withstand it. Damn it. Ancestor, do your best. Kill them all. The 10,000 Archean races and human race martial artists were extremely nervous. Suddenly, a fire erupted in the distance. It was as if millions of fire cheelants were rushing through the sky, tearing through the void and charging toward Jade Lake. Not good. The cheelan spear. Damn it. It's an extreme weapon. The human martial artists on Jade Lake's side screamed in fear. Their faces were pale as they fell to the ground. Even the sacred leaders and sect masters' bodies were torn apart. The Empress of the West and the others narrowed their eyes. Not good. Those sages are in danger. They realized that after the cheelan spear appeared, it didn't attack Jade Lake, the investiture of the gods, or the celestial Darch Cauldron. Instead, it charged toward the outer realm. If one of those primeval sages controlled an extreme Dao weapon, no matter how strong Lin Xian, the archdevil ancestor, and the others were, they would still die. Damn it! Despicable. The Crimson Dragon and the others cursed, but there was nothing they could do. Just the Emperor's aura alone made them unable to move. As expected, there was a terrifying fluctuation in the outer realm. The void was torn apart, and sage blood floated down from the sky. It was obvious that some sages were injured. Ha 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 ha, human, go to hell! The primordial sages roared arrogantly. Thousands of light rays flashed, turning into countless fire cheelants. The cheelan spear was an extreme weapon. It was an extremely powerful weapon. It was extremely terrifying. Now that it was controlled by the primordial sages, it could destroy gods and Buddhas. It was incomparable. No one could stop it. Damn it. I'm going to slaughter the 10,000 Archean races and turn them into rivers of blood. The demon ancestor's cold voice sounded in the sky. Killing intent surged in the sky as countless demonic shadows swept across. Not good. Stop him. The cheelan spear exploded with power, piercing through all the demonic shadows. The demons were also pushed back. Lin Xian fought back, but he was also pushed back. He had no choice. In the past, he could take on imperial weapons with his bare hands. But now, in the outer realm, with so many primordial sages using it, the cheelan spear's power was too strong. It was so strong that they were shocked. Fortunately, they were in the outer realm. Otherwise, in the eastern wilderness, countless territories would have sunk. 1. In the void, an endless black hole was formed. The devouring sword devoured everything, swallowing most of the energy. The demon lord used the 6 paths of reincarnation. The terrifying power of the 6 worlds destroyed everything. Lin Xian's greater success, divine body, blasted out in all directions. No, this can't go on. Lin Zhan also frowned. Xiajuo's eyes lit up as he shouted coldly. His aged white hair started to turn black, and his aged face also started to turn younger. Lin Xian's eyes widened in disbelief. Lower 9 Nether's eyes erupted with a piercingly cold light, and a large hand reached down. Lend me the West Emperor Pagoda. The sky-covering hand passed through the Jade Pool's array formation and grabbed the West Emperor Pagoda. Then it rose from the ground. With a loud boom, it was as if a 10,000-jong tall mountain had been uprooted. The West Emperor Pagoda was pulled up and flew into the sky. In the next moment, it erupted with an unparalleled Emperor's aura. The West Emperor Pagoda had awakened. The Queen Mother of the West and the saints of the Jade Lake sacred ground were shocked. What kind of method was this? Someone had borrowed their imperial armament in a domineering manner. They recognized that it was Xia Juyo's voice. This elder Ming was too terrifying. He was definitely beyond their imagination. The 10,000 ancient races were also terrified. They were pressed to the ground. Their bodies cracked, and their blood dyed the ground red. Above the 9 heavens, the primordial saints were also shocked. Damn it, how did he do it? Imperial armaments were the exclusive weapons of thearchs. They could suppress an area. Only the descendants of thearchs and sacred grounds could use them. Others couldn't get close at all. Even saints couldn't. But now, the old man in front of them had directly borrowed the West Emperor Pagoda from the Jade Pool sacred ground. What kind of method was this? Damn it, he had already brought the investiture of the gods. Now he had borrowed the West Emperor Pagoda. How did he do it? The primordial saints roared crazily. They frantically activated the Qilin spear. However, at this moment, the humans had the West Emperor Pagoda. With lower 9 nethers activation, the Qilin spear was directly sent flying. Explode! The demon lord also roared as his body descended from the 9 heavens. He arrived in front of the celestial emperor cauldron and struck out with his palm. Demonic aura surged from his body. Buzz! The celestial emperor cauldron hummed as it continued to expand, about to crush the entire world. A terrifying extreme Tao emperor's aura erupted, blasting in all directions. Not good, he's crazy, quickly block it. The primordial saints also rushed down from the outer realm, controlling the 10,000 dragons diagram and the phoenix bell to block it. With a boom, the extreme Tao emperor's aura collided, tearing apart the 9 heavens and countless stars in the outer realm. And this impact caused all the seals in the entire true spirit world to be broken. In the next moment, the endless void above the Gu family flickered. Then an ancient mirror shattered the void and appeared in the world with a powerful emperor's aura. The void mirror appeared. In the Yaoguang sacred ground, a dragon roared as a black cauldron with dragon patterns appeared, also suppressing an area. In the Tao East sacred ground, a Tao diagram flickered, also incomparably mysterious. In the Grand Xia Empire, a golden sword transformed into a giant dragon and soared into the sky. This was the extreme Tao weapon of the Grand Xia Empire. The Jili painting also flew out. In the western desert, in the 1000 Buddha temple, a Kasaya bloomed in the sky, directly enveloping the entire western desert, forming the strongest defense. This was also an emperor weapon. One after another, extreme Tao weapons appeared, and a terrifying extreme Tao aura suppressed heaven and earth. The entire true spirit world was trembling, and countless cracks appeared. At this moment, all the living beings of the sacred grounds and sects prostrated on the ground. Some directly fainted from the shock. Not good. The demon emperor of the northern plains demon emperor palace also appeared, suppressing an area to prevent it from collapsing. Yen Ryu frowned. There was an extremely terrifying power in her body that was being suppressed by her. Otherwise, she would definitely soar into the sky and fight against these extreme Tao weapons. Damn it, it's awakened, it's all awakened. How could this be? The nest of 10,000 dragons, Divine Phoenix Ridge, Fire Qilin Cave, and the 3 royal families, as well as the endless ancient royal families, all opened their eyes and roared. They didn't expect that in the end, the human race's extreme Tao weapons would awaken. Next, the foundation of the human race, the sleeping saints, would be awakened. If they forcefully started the dark turmoil, it would be an endless period of darkness. The various races would be destroyed, Blood would flow into rivers and corpses would form mountains. It wasn't certain who would win in the end. This wasn't what they wanted to see. They wanted to use extremely tyrannical methods to destroy the human race as quickly as possible. However, this plan had failed. What should they do? The Archean patriarchs and powerful sages quickly conversed. They had to think of a countermeasure. On the human race's side, those extreme Tao weapons, the sacred grounds, and the frozen saints also opened their eyes. When they sensed all of this, they roared crazily. Figures appeared in the sky, one after another. Damn it, who dares to attack the human race? They were really crazy. In the next moment, the world was in chaos. Terrifying energy currents wreaked havoc in all directions. Those weak cultivators were like ants, mercilessly crushed. If they wanted to fight, so be it. At most, they would sink the entire world. The saints of the 10,000 ancient races were also furious. Boom! In the endless void, two extreme Tao weapons soared into the sky. Clearly, the royal families of the 10,000 ancient races had awakened again. More and more extreme Tao weapons appeared in the world. Although they didn't clash, just their auras alone were enough to shake the entire world. If this continued, the entire world would probably shatter. Chapter 2882. It's over. Is this the end of the world? Those people were terrified. The people of the 10,000 ancient races also prostrated on the ground, trembling, because they realized that even if they had terrifying extreme weapons and the ancient royal family, it was still useless, because the human race also had them. Moreover, once the extreme weapons collided, the entire world would be destroyed. Who cared if they were royalty or royal family? They couldn't exist at all. I'm afraid that only those with imperial armaments would be able to survive. Therefore, these ancient creatures were all lying on the ground, screaming crazily. Humans, do you really want to fight to the death? The ancestor of the nest of 10,000 dragons roared, his voice rumbling like thunder. How laughable. You want to start a dark rebellion and slaughter the human race, but you don't want us to resist? Lin Xian sneered. Was the other party crazy? What kind of logic was this? If you want to fight, I'll accompany you to the end. Lin Zhan's body was also full of fighting spirit, carrying an incomparable domineering aura. The demon lord was even more direct. What nonsense was there to talk about? Let's see our true moves with the imperial weapons. I don't believe that you can be stronger than me in terms of the use of imperial weapons. The celestial emperor cauldron above his head was as if the celestial emperor had been reborn. He was unbelievably powerful. Xia Jirio's expression was solemn. The stars in his eyes flickered. To be honest, we don't want to use the imperial weapons unless we have no other choice. But you ancient races are really going too far. Do you really think that the human race has no one? Using the extreme weapons is a warning to you. It's a warning to you that the human race is not someone you can bully and crush as you wish. As soon as these words were spoken, the ancient saints and ancestors opposite them gritted their teeth in anger, their bodies trembling. Before they fell into a deep slumber, the human race was just a small ant. But now they could actually threaten them. Moreover, they couldn't fight back at all. This kind of depressing feeling was unbearable for the 10,000 ancient races who thought that they were high and mighty, like gods. Damn it, let's fight it out. I don't believe that they can win against us. That's right, our foundation and strength are far from what these humans can imagine. Fire Qilin Cave and Divine Phoenix Ridge roared crazily. They were too aggrieved. In the distance, the two imperial weapons also floated up and down. A few terrifying figures also appeared in the void. Laws danced around their bodies, making them hazy, making it impossible for others to see them clearly. What kind of race was this? However, at this moment, one of the figures in the distance spoke. No, the human race had developed to its current level. Over the past tens of thousands of years, several great emperors had emerged. leaving behind their orthodoxies and supreme weapons. You're still no weaker than us primeval theocrats. That's right. If we really fight, both sides will suffer, and we won't be able to gain any advantage. That's not what we want. What we want is just resources and territory for cultivation. We don't want other races to go extinct. Hearing this, the saint of the nest of 10,000 dragons fell silent. Indeed, although they were angry, they knew that if they really fought, the entire world would be plunged into misery and suffering. Most of the 10,000 ancient races would be destroyed, and only a few of the royal families would survive. Moreover, it was uncertain whether the imperial family would be able to survive. More importantly, their dragon crown prince had just been born. If he suffered any losses in this battle, they wouldn't be able to recover even if they died 10,000 times. Hence, the nest of 10,000 dragons had already decided not to make a move. At the very least, they couldn't start a war with supreme weapons. In addition, the divine Phoenix Ridge, Fire Spirit Cave, and the other primeval theocrats were the same. They also had princes and princesses. If they were really killed, the gains would not make up for the losses. Negotiate. In the end, an ancestor of the nest of 10,000 dragons spoke in a deep voice. You humans have occupied too much land and resources. The 10,000 ancient races must take back some of them. Yes, that's right. No one will use supreme weapons, but you must give us resources and land. We must control this world together. The saint of the Fire Chilin Cave also said that. The saint of the divine Phoenix Ridge also snorted coldly. The eyes of the other 10,000 ancient races were red and fiery. Indeed, although they couldn't start a war, they had to take back the resources. They definitely couldn't let the humans take advantage of them. Hearing that the primeval theocrats wanted to negotiate, the jade pool cultivators below were stunned. It was as if they were dreaming. They didn't expect the primeval theocrats to retreat. Those from the Yi family, Gu family, Dao, I Holy Land, and the others who had supreme weapons also heaved a sigh of relief. Great, there was no need to start a war. Otherwise, they would have suffered heavy losses. Lin Xian also heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that the dark turmoil had been stopped. Xia Juyo's eyes flickered, and he revealed a smile. Only the demon lord snorted coldly, looking very unhappy. To be honest, Lin Xian and the others were really worried. They were afraid that the demon lord would directly use the celestial emperor cauldron and kill his way over. If that happened, there would be no possibility of negotiation at all. However, although the demon lord's actions were evil and unpredictable, he was incomparably arrogant. However, this time he didn't make a move. In that case, let's go to the jade pool, Xia Juyo said with a smile. With a wave of his hand, the West Emperor Pagoda in his hand quickly descended and returned to the jade pool, suppressing the jade pool. It emitted tens of thousands of rays of light. The Gu family, Great Xia, and Dao, I Holy Land also withdrew their supreme weapons. On the other side, the nest of 10,000 dragons and the other primeval theocrats also withdrew their supreme weapons. In the sky, the Emperor's aura slowly dissipated. The living beings below all heaved a sigh of relief. This is great. They were saved, because just now their fates were all in the hands of those people above. If these people had fought with their supreme weapons, none of them would have been able to survive. This made them feel like they had survived a disaster. Only the Yi family had a strange expression because their celestial emperor cauldron was still in the hands of the other party. Facing this terrifying white-haired demon lord, they didn't dare to speak at all. If the other party killed them without a word, they probably wouldn't have anywhere to cry. However, if they couldn't get the celestial emperor cauldron back, how could they be willing? One had to know that this was a supreme weapon. It was their lifeblood. They would never lose it. For a moment, the Yi family's patriarch and the others frowned. There were even many elders who secretly wanted to activate the sleeping saints to snatch it by force. However, among them, there were a few living fossil-level saints who shook their heads. They soared into the sky, and one of them even said excitedly with a trembling voice, "Are you Lord Seven?" What was going on? As soon as these words came out, the people of the Yi family were dumbfounded. The cultivators of the other holy lands were also shocked. Those archaic creatures also frowned. A powerful Yi family saint was actually so respectful to the white-haired demon lord? Could it be that this white-haired demon lord was also a member of the Yi family? Chapter 2883. But why did the other party cultivate the demonic path? They couldn't understand. They were very curious, and all of their eyes were looking forward. Lin Xian was also surprised. The white hair fiend ancestor snorted and turned to look at the other party. "What seventh master? You've got the wrong person." With a wave of his hand, the celestial emperor cauldron flew out and entered the Yi family. Seeing this scene, the Yi family patriarch and the others heaved a sigh of relief. Great, the celestial emperor cauldron had returned. However, this made them even more puzzled. Was the person in front of them really not from the Yi family? But why did the other party know the 6 paths of reincarnation fist? Why could the other party use the celestial emperor cauldron directly? On the other hand, the saint of the Yi family was extremely excited. "It's him, it must be him." He roared crazily in his heart because his guess was right. The other party must be that person. However, the other party probably wouldn't admit it. But it didn't matter as long as he knew that the other party was still alive. Seeing the other party's impatient expression, the Yi family saint hurriedly turned around and left. He knew this person's temper. If the other party was really angry, he would probably chop him up. "Patriarch, who is he?" The invincible kings of the Yi family asked one after another. However, the saint shook his head. He would talk about this matter after returning to the family. Indeed, there were too many people now, and it wasn't suitable to talk about these things. The others originally wanted to hear some secrets of the Yi family, but now it seemed impossible. But soon they put away their thoughts. Because above, Xiajiao, the demon lord, Lin Zhan, Lin Xian, and other peerless experts descended from the sky and entered the Jade Pool. The Queen Mother and the Jade Pool saints hurriedly opened the array formation and made a path. They welcomed them with the highest standards. They had no choice, these were all saints. And among the saints, they were extremely terrifying existences. They couldn't be offended. After landing, Xia Juyo and the others looked up at the sky. Lin Xian also sneered. He looked at the primordial saints of the nest of 10,000 dragons and sneered. "Why, don't you dare to come down? If you don't dare to come down, then go back. There's no need to negotiate. Scram back to your nest and don't come out again. Kid, you're courting death." The primordial saints were so angry that they coughed up blood. Among them, primordial ancestor Gu snorted coldly. They quickly descended, bringing with them the laws that filled the sky, and arrived at the Jade Lake. In an instant, the martial artists of the Jade Lake felt as if the sky was falling and the earth was splitting apart. Fortunately, the West Emperor Pagoda had already awakened at this time. It released endless Emperor's might, blocking the terrifying aura of these sages. Only then did they manage to protect Jade Lake. Otherwise, all the warriors in the Jade Lake would turn into blood mist and cease to exist. How terrifying! Was this the power of a supreme saint? Gu Santong Wu Hua and the others were shocked beyond words. Yi Wu Dao, the all-Kate Holy Sun, Dustless, and the others all wore solemn expressions. Their eyes were burning with passion. They were too strong, although they thought that they were the geniuses of the younger generation. They didn't have any power to resist in front of these primeval sages. A single glance from the other party could kill them instantly. He really hoped that one day he would be able to fight with such a person. They were envious. At the same time, they looked at Lin Xian in shock. Lin Xian had fought with such an existence before? Heavens, this is too scary. The Queen Mother of the West opened the West Emperor Palace. It was an ancient palace with a peerless array formation and endless Tao inscriptions. It was used to receive the sages. Usually, it wouldn't be opened, but now that so many human sages and primeval sages had descended, she had no choice but to open the West Emperor Palace. Soon, Xia Jiao, the Demon Lord, Lin Zhan, and the others were invited in. The sages and primeval kings of the 10,000 Archean races also walked in. Lin Xian was also among them. He had fused with the greater success divine body and was extremely powerful. Naturally, he could also enter the West Emperor Pagoda. The others couldn't enter. Even the Yi family patriarch, the Queen Mother of the West, and the others couldn't do anything. They could only wait outside. The other martial artists of the human race were the same. Outside, the endless primeval army was also very nervous. No one knew what the outcome of this discussion would be. No one knew how much resources and land the human race would give up. However, if they gave up a bit, these people would bleed. Damn it, they really wanted to go in. The Crimson Dragon was also scratching his ears and cheeks anxiously outside. However, there was nothing he could do. There were endless Tao inscriptions in front of him. Those were the laws of the sage level. Those below the sage level couldn't detect them. After 2 days, everyone's expressions changed, because they heard angry roars coming from the West Emperor Palace. There were humans and primeval races. No way were the negotiations going to fall apart. They were terrified. It seemed that the negotiations between the two sides were not harmonious. In fact, there was even a roar. There was no choice. There were only so many top-tier resources and spirit veins, other than those forbidden lands that couldn't be entered. The other places were occupied by the human race. How could they give them to the primeval races? In particular, those top-tier spirit veins and resources would definitely be the focus of the two sides. It was easy to understand why such a voice was heard. However, these people were trembling. If these people fell apart and another battle broke out, wouldn't the dark turmoil start again? Everyone waited outside for 7 days and 7 nights. Suddenly, the door of the West Emperor Pagoda opened, and the primeval sages walked out like gods and demons. Their faces were gloomy, and their killing intent was monstrous. It was obvious that the discussion was very unpleasant. After coming out, they soared into the sky, tore through the void, and came outside. Then Xia Jiao, the Fiend Master, Lin Zhan, Lin Xian, and the others also walked out. They also had solemn expressions. The faces of the saints of the sacred grounds were also ashen. It was obvious that the other party was asking for too much. Humans, do as we say. Otherwise, we will start a dark upheaval. In the sky, the primeval sages said coldly, "I'll give you 7 days to consider. After 7 days, we'll talk again." As they spoke, they led the primeval army and camped near the jade pool. Damn it, they're going too far. The saints of the sacred grounds gritted their teeth and roared. Indeed, the other party was too arrogant. Their conditions were really unacceptable. At most, they would fight with them. They would let them know that the human race was not to be bullied. Many people gritted their teeth. Xia Jiao, Lin Zhan, the Fiend Master, and the others frowned. The other party's conditions were indeed overboard, but it was impossible for them to fight. If they fought, the mountains and rivers would shatter, and they would be the ones to suffer in the end. Was there really no other way? Lin Xian also frowned. To be honest, if he hadn't followed them in and heard these conditions, Lin Xian wouldn't have known that the primeval race was actually so ambitious. There was no other way. Xia Jiao sighed. Although there was no extreme war, the primeval races still looked down on the human race in their hearts. Therefore, they would naturally ask for too much. He had to think of a way to intimidate them again. Chapter 2884. That's right. Both sides were tied now. Although they didn't use any extreme weapons, their remaining strength wasn't enough to make the ancient race feel fear. They had to make the ancient race feel fear before they could negotiate normally. Otherwise, if the other party demanded an exorbitant price, they wouldn't be able to negotiate at all. If only our human race had a living larch. Let's see if the ancient race would still dare to be arrogant. A sage from the purple dawn, sacred land, shook his head and sighed. Let me do it. At that moment, a voice sounded, attracting the attention of the sages. Lin Xian was also shocked because he realized that the voice was coming from his body. Senior, he exclaimed. That's right. The voice came from the nine-sun Sword Saint Soul. The other sages were also shocked. They naturally knew that this body wasn't Lin Xian's. They didn't know where he got it from. Now that they heard another voice coming from the other party's body, they were extremely astonished. This soul was very weak, but the pressure from it made their eyelids twitch. Even the fiend lord, Lord Alcohol, Xiajiao, and the others narrowed their eyes. You should be the previous nine-sun sword saint, right? At that moment, Xiajiao said in a deep voice, That's right, I am. The nine-sun sword saint's soul emitted fluctuations, shocking the sages. You don't have to guess my origins. My soul can't hold on for long, so I want to use my last bit of strength. What do you want to do? Xiajiao asked. The nine-sun sword saint's soul said, I need power. Give me as much power as you want. I can temporarily recover to my peak state and then intimidate the ancient race. However, this time is very short. Before long, I will vanish into thin air. Senior, Lin Xian exclaimed again. The nine-sun sword saint soul said, Don't worry, there's no need to grieve for me. I should have died long ago. However, due to special reasons, I've lived for tens of thousands of years. Now, all of this is no longer what I'm familiar with. There's no need for me to stay. However, I'm willing to make a final contribution for the human race. Hearing this, all the sages fell silent. Yes, everyone should do their best for their race. I can help you. Xiajiao also nodded solemnly. At the side, Lord Alcohol, Lin Zhan, and the demon lord's eyes flashed with a cold light. We don't have any problems on our side. We can provide you with enough power to temporarily restore you to your peak state. At this point, the saints were extremely shocked. How terrifying would a divine body at its peak state be? They did not dare to imagine. There's no time to lose. Let's begin. The nine-sun Sword Saint Soul said. Xiajiao, Lord Alcohol, and the others nodded. Little guy, I still need you to control this body. The nine-sun Sword Saint said. No problem, Senior. I will do my best. Lin Xian clenched his fists. The nine-sun Sword Saint nodded his head in gratification. I'm very happy to see you grow. I hope that you can bring the nine-sun divine body to greater heights in the future. I have one last request. Once I'm done intimidating the ancient royal family, I hope to return to Black Demon Cliff. You buried this body in the deepest part of your body. Don't worry, Senior. I will definitely fulfill your last wish. From the looks of it, the nine-sun sword saint was still worried about the demonic chi there. He wanted to use his divine body to suppress the demonic chi in Black Demon Cliff. Jade Lake's saints controlled the West Imperial Tower and sent out waves of Emperor's might to envelop Jade Lake. It was to prevent the 10,000 ancient races from investigating. After all, they were used to intimidate the 10,000 ancient races. If the other party discovered it and destroyed it, the gains would not make up for the losses. Waves of Emperor's might shot out, preventing the people outside Jade Lake from investigating. Even if they used extreme weapons, they might not be able to enter. This scene terrified the other cultivators in Jade Lake. What's going on? What happened? Why are they using extreme weapons again? Are they really going to start a dark upheaval? Their bodies trembled. The 10,000 ancient races that were stationed near Jade Lake were also stunned. Those primordial life forms prostrated on the ground, and the primordial kings were terrified. The primordial saints' expressions also changed. They all soared into the air. Damn it, Extreme Emperor's might. They activated the West Imperial Tower. Are they trying to ambush us? These people emitted a terrifying aura. As long as the situation was not right, they would activate their extreme weapons. Since the other party wanted to fight, they would accompany them to the end. However, after waiting for a long time, they frowned because they realized that the West Imperial Tower only enveloped the entire Jade Lake. It did not spread out, nor did it attack them. This made them heave a sigh of relief. It seemed that these humans were afraid that they would ambush them, so they covered the entire Jade Lake. Humph, what a bunch of cowards. The primordial saints sneered and landed one after another. They also warned their own people not to be afraid. It was just a human defense, so there was no need to pay attention to it. The 10,000 ancient races sneered. In Jade Lake, the human cultivators waited for a long time, but did not see any attack. They heaved a sigh of relief. They guessed that they were using Emperor's weapons for their own safety, to prevent the 10,000 ancient races from ambushing them. Therefore, they heaved a sigh of relief. In the depths of Jade Lake, Lin Xian, Xiajiao, and the others stood there. Lin Xian stood on an extremely complicated array formation. This array formation was completely formed by interweaving Dao runes. It was drawn by Xiajiao, Lord Alcohol, the Fiend Master, and the others. Together with the Jade Lake's holy water and the life goddess's great divine ability, he began to recover his greater mastery divine body. Lord Alcohol even used the devouring sword to devour the pure energy of heaven and earth and poured it into his greater mastery divine body, allowing it to recover to its peak. Lin Xian felt that his greater mastery divine body seemed to have come alive as it frantically absorbed the energy. Could it be that his greater mastery divine body had not recovered to its peak strength? He was too surprised. One had to know that previously he had only used the strength of his physical body to defeat a saint. However, this was only his ordinary state, not his peak state. How terrifying was a peak greater mastery divine body. He could not imagine it at all. Of course, the most difficult thing was the 9-Sun Sword Saint soul. This was because his soul was too weak. It was like a candle that could be extinguished at any moment. He had to ensure that the other party's soul was not extinguished before he could use the greater mastery divine body. Otherwise, Lin Xian would not be able to use the greater mastery divine body. Use the soul anchoring pearl of my Lanrua temple. A monk of Lanrua temple took out an ancient treasure. It was a yellow pearl with Buddhist runes all over it. The moment it appeared, everyone's soul trembled. A look of shock appeared on their faces. This was too unbelievable. One had to know that they were all saint-level existences. How powerful were their soul powers? However, in front of this pearl, they trembled. From this, one could imagine how extraordinary this pearl was. Could the soul-anchoring pearl be that ancient treasure? The saint of the Dayan, sacred ground, exclaimed. Chapter 2885. The other sages were also shocked. This was left behind by an ancient Buddha. It was an extremely terrifying treasure. Moreover, it was a rare soul treasure. With it, one's soul could definitely be protected. With this item, 9-Sun Sword Saint's soul should be able to protect it. At the very least, he could complete his mission of intimidating the 10,000 ancient races. The sages were extremely excited. Xiajiao, Lord Alcohol, and the others nodded. They also knew about the soul-anchoring pearl. Lin Xian was also extremely surprised. He carefully took the soul-anchoring pearl and inserted it into his body. The soul-anchoring pearl emitted a Buddhist light and enveloped 9-Sun Sword Saint soul. With the soul-anchoring pearl protecting his soul, 9-Sun Sword Saint roared and unleashed all his potential. Buzz! Lin Xian's body trembled. Then he let out a long roar and shattered the galaxy in the sky. Countless runes appeared on his body and transformed into divine chains of order that danced around him. The divine body of greater success bloomed with resplendent light. The entire Jade Lake trembled. The cultivators inside were terrified and looked up. Damn it, what happened? Why is the Jade Lake trembling? Could it be that the 10,000 ancient races outside are attacking? They were truly stunned. Right now, the Jade Lake was being suppressed by the West Imperial Pagoda. There shouldn't be a problem. However, the Jade Lake trembled violently. Countless cracks appeared in the sky above. A terrifying and monstrous aura pressed them to the ground, making them unable to resist. The sages of the sacred grounds were all terrified. Had the great emperor revived? They looked at Lin Xian in front of them in shock. At this moment, Lin Xian's aura was too terrifying. It far exceeded that of a sage. It was as if an ancient, great emperor had been revived. The only ones who could resist him were Xiajiao, the demon lord, Lord Alcohol, and the others. They also retreated with solemn expressions. They looked at the divine body of greater success in front of them with flickering eyes. As expected of the nine-sun divine body, when cultivated to greater success, it was comparable to a great emperor. That's great. Such power can definitely intimidate the 10,000 ancient races. Although the other sages were trembling, their eyes were burning because the other party was too powerful. Was this the power of a great success divine body? Lin Xian clenched his fists in shock. He saw that the sages around him were trembling because of his aura. He even felt that he could kill these sages with a single glance. Too powerful. This made him excited and incomparably envious. He swore that in the future, he would definitely cultivate the 9-yang divine body to the large success stage. Buzz, buzz, buzz. In the sky, countless large cracks appeared. Strands of laws were useless, and divine flames filled the sky. They turned into phoenixes that circled around him. All kinds of strange phenomena appeared under his feet. It was as if he was kneeling. The sect masters and elders in the Jade Pool were all stunned by this scene. Could it be that the ancient emperors had really come back to life? Even the 10,000 ancient races stationed outside were terrified. Those ordinary immemorial creatures were once again pressed to the ground, and some even fainted. The primordial king trembled. The primordial saint and a few patriarchs also changed their expressions. Biting cold radiance appeared in their eyes. They turned into long rainbows, as if they were going to pierce through the front. Damn it, what's going on? What kind of aura was that? They were extremely shocked. Why would an extremely terrifying power be emitted from the Jade Pool? It was as if the ancient emperors had come back to life. Could it be that they had used a second extreme weapon again? The sage of the heavenly rock race said with a frown, because inside, other than the West Emperor Tower, there was also a terrifying power that was awakening. That power was almost the same as the Emperor's might. Therefore, they suspected that the other party had activated a second extreme weapon in the Jade Pool. Damn it! What were these guys trying to do? They covered the Jade Pool and even activated a second extreme weapon. Could it be that they were really plotting something? The faces of the primordial saints were gloomy. The sage of the nest of 10,000 dragons said in a deep voice, "Let's be careful and not be tricked by the other party. Don't worry, we definitely won't let the humans launch a sneak attack." The other sages also sneered. Inside the Jade Pool, Lin Xian's eyes erupted with a biting cold light. He let out a long roar that shattered the 9 heavens. At this moment, he was like a war god that could split the world apart. Inside his body, the 9-sun sword saint's soul said, "Little guy, that's enough. Hurry up and move. I don't have much time." Although he had the soul anchoring pearl, there wasn't much time left for the 9-sun sword saint. After hearing this, Lin Xian nodded. In the next moment, he took a step forward. After taking a step, the golden runes under his feet flickered and turned into a golden dragon. Heaven and earth shook and the void collapsed. There was nothing that could stop it. In an instant, Lin Xian arrived outside the Jade Pool. A terrifying force shook the surroundings and swept out in all directions. At this moment, all the cultivators in the Jade Pool knelt down, trembling. Not only that, but the primordial great army outside also prostrated on the ground. apart from the jade pool. All the living beings in the entire eastern wasteland knelt on the ground again. Their faces were filled with fear. What was going on? Could it be that an extreme weapon was used? Heavens, could it be that the jade pool collapsed? Apart from the eastern wasteland, the middle continent, and the western desert, the powerhouses of the entire true spirit world were also trembling. Their gazes turned to the distant east. Damn it, what was going on? Look, it's not an extreme weapon, it's a person. In the Jade Lake sacred ground, a few sect masters screamed. They discovered that the terrifying aura wasn't an extreme weapon, but a person. Who was that? Could it be that the primordial great emperor had revived? This shocked them greatly. The aura emitted by the other party was not inferior to an extreme weapon at all. Only a great emperor could emit such an aura. However, the light was too bright. They couldn't see it clearly at all. Golden light. That was the 9-sun divine body. It was that kid Lin Xian. Heavens! How did his power increase again? Those living fossils had faces full of shock. Could it be that it was the peak state of the greater success divine body? As soon as this was said, everyone was shocked and sucked in a breath of cold air. It seemed that the saints of the various sacred grounds had worked together to restore Lin Xian's greater success divine body to its peak. Could it be that the human race was going to attack the 10,000 ancient races again? This was truly a shocking piece of news. At this moment, all the sect masters watched in silence, their bodies trembling. On the other hand, the 10,000 ancient races were also stunned. Especially the pupils of the primordial saints shrank. Damn it, it wasn't an extreme weapon. They also saw the golden figure in the sky. Had the great emperor revived? The saints also trembled, and despair appeared in their hearts. Chapter 2886. Because the other party's aura was too terrifying, so terrifying that they couldn't resist at all. Only a great emperor could make them feel so hopeless. No, damn it, I don't believe it. They screamed crazily. How was this possible? How could there be a living great emperor of the human race? They were crazy. One had to know that the appearance of a great emperor was an existence that dominated the world. Even if the other families had extreme weapons, they wouldn't be able to contend against a true great emperor, because the difference was too great. Previously, they were full of confidence, thinking that they could destroy the human race, or at least make the human race slaves again. But now, a great emperor had appeared in the human race, which made them despair. If the great emperor of the human race made a move, none of the 10,000 ancient races would be able to contend against him. These 10,000 ancient races were really panicking. No, it wasn't a real great emperor, it was that kid. The eyes of the saint of the nest of 10,000 dragons were like divine chains that pierced through the void. He finally screamed. It was that kid from before. Are you talking about that Lin Xian? This should be the power of a great success divine body. That's not right. I've already seen the 9-yang divine body before. Although it's very powerful, it's far from this level. The other ancestors also frowned. The face of the ancestor of the nest of 10,000 dragons was pale. It was probably the peak state of a great success divine body. What? A great success divine body in its peak state? Rumor has it that it was comparable to a great emperor. How did he recover? Damn it, how did this kid do it? The patriarchs roared like they had gone mad. Lin Xian stood in the void, his eyes opening and closing as he swept his gaze in all directions. Buzz, buzz, buzz! Those ancient kings exploded with a bang, and the ancient army below also turned into a bloody mist. No! Damn it, block it! Block him! They roared crazily. In an instant, the image of 10,000 dragons appeared. Tens of thousands of auras descended, covering the countless ancient army. The other ancient creatures that had survived trembled in fear, pissing their pants in fear. It was too terrifying. The other party only glanced at them, and the powerhouses of the 10,000 ancient races shattered into a bloody mist. What kind of power was this? If the other party made a move, none of them would be able to withstand it. Damn kid, you dare to attack us? Kill him, I must kill him. The primeval saints roared. The 10,000 dragons diagram was activated, and it unleashed a shocking attack. 10,000 dragons roared and charged toward Lin Xian. This time, Lin Xian didn't dodge. He stretched out a hand and grabbed forward. Wherever it passed, the laws and energy of the 10,000 dragons' portrait were quickly destroyed. Then the sky-covering hand grabbed the 10,000 dragons' portrait. Roar! The 10,000 dragons diagram transformed into countless dragons that roared in the sky, but they were unable to break free from this large hand. Damn it! He actually managed to grab the myriad dragons diagram. This was what it meant to receive an imperial weapon barehanded. The ancient creatures were horrified. Inside the jade pool, the human warriors were also stunned when they saw this scene. Was this the power of a great success divine body that was comparable to a great emperor? He was indeed too powerful. That was an imperial weapon. Yet the other party was able to easily grasp it in his hand. Grabbing the 10,000 dragons picture, Lin Xian looked down again. Bang, bang, bang. The bodies of the saints split open, and their blood splattered. What? Even the saints couldn't withstand a single glance from him? What kind of existence was this? The 10,000 ancient races had really gone crazy. The bodies of the patriarchs also split open as they retreated crazily. They frantically activated the 10,000 dragons picture, and the other supreme weapons were also quickly recovering. Lin Xian waved his hand and sent the 10,000 dragons picture into the outer realm. In the next moment, his cold voice resounded through the 9 heavens. Do you really think that the human race doesn't have any powerhouses? Just as well I'll go to the territory of the 10,000 ancient races today. At this point, he took a step forward, and countless Tao runes appeared under his feet. They directly stretched into the distance, forming a golden dragon that stretched for tens of thousands of miles. With a single step, the mountains and rivers changed and time and space rotated. Lin Xian instantly disappeared in the sky. Not good. The primeval saints all screamed. From what they heard, the other party wanted to attack their nest. Damn it! An existence comparable to a great emperor was attacking their nest. How could they resist? Not good. Protect the dragon prince. The saints of the nest of 10,000 dragons roared crazily. They also tore through the void and flew towards the nest of 10,000 dragons. Buzz. Middle ground. Qinling Mountains. Millions of dragon veins were like giant dragons that coiled above the ground. At this moment, the void in the sky cracked open, and golden Tao runes gathered. A golden god of war walked out of the crack. It was Lin Xian. The moment he appeared, a terrifying pressure filled the entire middle ground. All the living beings of the middle ground prostrated on the ground, trembling. Was the great emperor here? The faces of these living beings were filled with terror. The saints of the Tai dynasty, Grand Xia dynasty, and the other sacred grounds and sects also opened their eyes. Deep shock appeared in their eyes. Damn it, who was it? At this moment, countless people's gazes were focused on the Qinling Mountains. Inside the nest of 10,000 dragons, the primeval saints of the dragon race also opened their eyes. Although they didn't break the divine crystal, they all floated up. Not good. A strong enemy is attacking. Quickly protect the crown prince. Countless figures danced and surrounded the golden dragon. The golden dragon's expression was also solemn, and there was a trace of shock in his golden eyes. What a terrifying aura! It made him tremble. What was it? Had the great emperor really awakened? Buzz! In the next moment, a large palm grabbed over from the sky, and the void above instantly cracked open. Lin Xian directly broke open the nest of 10,000 dragons. Countless dragon chi rolled and soared into the sky. Damn it, who was this person? The saints in the nest of 10,000 dragons screamed in horror. This method was too terrifying. Their nest of 10,000 dragons was a forbidden area, and no one could break in. However, the other party broke open the nest of 10,000 dragons with a casual palm. No, damn it, how dare you? At this moment, the saints and primeval saints also charged over. They brought the 10,000 dragons' portrait and descended. Great, we're saved. We have the 10,000 dragons' portrait. We can definitely kill him. The dragons in the nest of 10,000 dragons exclaimed. The dragon crown prince also snorted coldly. No matter who you are, you will definitely die today. Men, use the 10,000 dragons' portrait and kill him. Boom! The 10,000 dragons' portrait revived and charged toward Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian had a peak, greater mastery divine body, comparable to a great emperor. How powerful was he? The 9-yang divine sword directly blasted the 10,000 dragons' portrait away. Boom! Boom! The 10,000 dragons' portrait flew into the outer realm, and the people in the nest of 10,000 dragons were all dumbfounded. Who was this person? He caught an emperor weapon with his bare hands and sent the 10,000 dragons' portrait flying? Was the other party really a great emperor revived? This was because only the emperors of old could achieve such a feat. He had a greater mastery divine body. He had a greater mastery divine body. Damn it, what were you trying to do? Chapter 2887. If you dare to touch our dragon prince, we swear that even if we have to leave our last drop of blood, we will destroy the human race. Many of the ancient saints roared crazily. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He swept out a few fingers, and the bodies of those saints exploded, turning into a bloody mist. This scene made everyone tremble in fear. Their faces were filled with despair. Heavens, it was too terrifying. The saints in their eyes were like ants in front of the other party. They were killed at will. Lin Xian's gaze was fixed on the little golden dragon amidst the dragon energy. In the next moment, he was extremely shocked. The dragon blood in the other party's body was too powerful. Was this the son of a great emperor? He was indeed too strong. Just this bloodline alone. Even if the other party didn't cultivate, he could grow to an unimaginable level. The little golden dragon, the dragon prince, was enveloped by Lin Xian's gaze. His body instantly tensed up. He let out an unwilling roar, wanting to resist. However, although he was the dragon prince, the son of the dragon emperor, but facing a peak great success divine body, it was still not enough. Therefore, his roar was completely useless. Not only that, a crack even appeared on his body. No, damn it, stop. You can't do this. The saints of the nest of 10,000 dragons screamed crazily. The others also had looks of despair on their faces. That was their dragon prince. Sure enough, the dragon prince roared as drops of golden dragon blood rolled down his body. His face was filled with anger and unwillingness. But the other party was too powerful. He was so powerful that even if they used extreme weapons, they might not be able to defeat him. Lin Xian sneered. Why? Was this feeling very desperate? When you launched the dark chaos and targeted the human race, did you ever think that the human race was also in despair? At that time, the human race also pleaded for mercy. But what did you do? Do you want me to remind you? Lin Xian's cold voice resounded through the 9 heavens and 10 earths. At this moment, all the dragons in the nest of 10,000 dragons trembled. The saints of the nest of 10,000 dragons screamed crazily. We were wrong. We apologize. Please show mercy. They could only lower their heads in front of the other party. This scene was observed by countless experts with their souls. They were extremely shocked and their scalps went numb. The nest of 10,000 dragons and the far ancient royal family actually admitted defeat. This was simply too shocking. Especially on the side of the human race, they were extremely excited. This was great, as expected. A peak, great, success, divine body intimidated the nest of 10,000 dragons. The other ancient race experts also sucked in a cold breath of air. Even the nest of 10,000 dragons had submitted, so how could they resist? Why don't we quickly use the 3 monarch weapons to kill this kid? One of the Fire Chelan Cave's patriarchs quickly spoke. That was because he was extremely unwilling. However, the other members of the ancient theocrats all shook their heads. Forget it. If he managed to escape, what awaited him would be a crazy revenge. Our master, the princes and princesses, would most likely be killed with a single glance. They didn't dare to take the risk. The saint of the nest of 10,000 dragons apologized and then said, "Don't worry, we definitely won't cause any more chaos. We will not ask for too much. We will live in peace with the human race." "Is that so? But I don't really believe your words." Lin Xian coldly snorted. "We are willing to swear that these ancient saints screamed crazily." "Very well. Swear on your dragon prince's life that there will be no more chaos. Otherwise, your dragon prince will definitely be destroyed in body and soul." As soon as these words were spoken, the hearts of the dragons in the nest of 10,000 dragons thumped wildly. This was a vicious oath. Once they swore it, if they really went back on their word, their dragon prince would have to take such a vicious oath in the future. But now, if they didn't swear, the other party might directly kill their dragon prince. Therefore, they gritted their teeth and said, "All right, we swear." These ancient saints quickly swore a vicious oath. "Remember, you are not allowed to attack the human race." Lin Xian turned around and left. Countless Dao runes interweaved under his feet, carrying him as if the celestial arch was traveling and walking into the distance. Whoosh! The saints of the nest of 10,000 dragons all fell to the ground, panting heavily. The dragons of the nest of 10,000 dragons also survived the calamity. The dragon prince was so angry that he went crazy. Damn it, he really deserved to die. He was the son of the dragon emperor, high and mighty. In the future, he would definitely become the new dragon emperor and rule over the 9 heavens and 10 lands. But now he was actually being threatened by someone. Moreover, he couldn't fight back. This was unbearable. Damn it, who is he? Who exactly is he? I must kill him. Lin Xian ignored this roar. He intimidated the nest of 10,000 dragons and then flew to his next target. His time was limited, and he didn't want to start a war directly. After all, if they fought, the human race wouldn't have any advantage. What he needed to do now was to intimidate these 10,000 ancient races so that they wouldn't dare to attack the human race casually. His second target was naturally the divine Phoenix Ridge and the Phoenix race. When Lin Xian arrived, countless cracks appeared on the divine Phoenix Ridge. It couldn't withstand this terrifying energy at all. We admit defeat, we admit our mistakes. The divine Phoenix Ridge was very straightforward and directly came out. Several saints swore on the spot and paid a large number of ancient treasures. They had no choice. They had all seen what happened in the nest of 10,000 dragons. They didn't want to suffer the same experience again. Next, Lin Xian continued to head to the Fire Chelan Cave. The Fire Chelan Cave also lowered its head and admitted its mistake. There was no other way. Even the nest of 10,000 dragons and the divine Phoenix Ridge had admitted their mistakes. What was the use of persisting? In addition to the 3 royal families, Lin Xian looked at 2 other mysterious places. 2 extreme weapons had appeared in these 2 places. Clearly, they were also 2 royal families. However, the other party was more mysterious. But Lin Xian still looked over. The 2 mysterious royal families also swore a poison oath not to start a dark rebellion. Next, Lin Xian swept his gaze over the ancient royal families. These primordial royal clans were much worse than the imperials. Therefore, they didn't dare to resist at all. Lin Xian's speed was extremely fast. In just 2 steps, he he could go from one ancient race to another. In an instant, the 10,000 ancient races all received warnings and threats. Facing Lin Xian, they trembled and didn't dare to attack at all. Very good, now it was time to sign the immemorial Treaty of Alliance. Lin Xian waved his hand, and countless golden laws interweaved in the sky, forming a golden scroll. On the human side, Xiajiao, Lord Alcohol, Fiend Lord, and the saints of the sacred grounds and great sects all soared into the sky. The saints of the 10,000 ancient races also arrived. They discussed with each other and finally signed the immemorial Treaty of Alliance. The human race and the 10,000 ancient races coexisted peacefully in this world. To be honest, the 10,000 ancient races were very unwilling to accept such a treaty. However, Lin Xian was still watching from the side, so they could only bite the bullet and sign it. Seeing that the other party had signed the immemorial Treaty of Alliance, Lin Xian nodded in satisfaction. However, this wasn't the end. He made another condition. Chapter 2888. Next, Lin Xian proposed another condition, which was to protect the younger generation of the human race. This was both to protect the human race's prodigies and also to pave a way out for himself. After all, he had been too conspicuous in quelling the dark chaos this time. First, he had displayed the 9-yang divine body and great dragon sword soul. Finally, he had used this stance to defeat countless experts. If he left his great success divine body, he would attract endless revenge. Therefore, he had to make them sign an agreement that they could not attack him. The saints of the 10,000 ancient races naturally understood this. However, one of the saints of the Silver Lightning race hesitated for a moment and was killed by Lin Xian with a glance. Seeing this scene, the other saints quickly signed the agreement. This meant that saint-level existences would not move around casually and would not attack the younger generation. Naturally, the humans also signed the agreement. After all, the 10,000 ancient races were also worried that their princes and princesses would be attacked by human experts. Just like that, an extremely terrifying dark upheaval was quelled. Both sides retreated and left. Lin Xian directly formed the immemorial covenant into a golden mountain that pierced the clouds and stood on the ground. He was not afraid that the 10,000 ancient races would go back on their word, because this covenant was very strange. It was passed down from the immemorial era, and once violated, it would be punished by the heavens. After quelling the dark chaos, the 9-yang sword saint's soul also heaved a sigh of relief. He was now very weak. Senior, don't worry, I will go to Black Demon Cliff now. Lin Xian tore through the void and returned to Black Demon Cliff. Black Demon Cliff was still a terrifying forbidden land. Although the body of the great success divine body had been dug out, just a demonic chi here alone was not a place that anyone could enter. However, the demonic chi had no effect on Lin Xian. His body shone brightly, and the runes under his feet danced, tearing apart the demonic chi that filled the sky. In an instant, he arrived in the depths of Black Demon Cliff. No matter how peerless and talented you are, if you don't become an immortal, you will eventually become a pile of dirt. The 9-yang sword saint's soul finally sighed and looked at Lin Xian. Young man, advance towards the path of the great emperor. Open the immortal gate and become an immortal above the great emperor. That is the way to eternity. His soul slowly dissipated, and his voice reverberated between heaven and earth. Lin Xian's body left the great success divine body. Tears welled up in his eyes as he watched this scene. Senior, have a safe journey. Senior, don't worry. I will definitely bring glory to the 9-yang divine body and live up to your reputation. The divine body once again turned into a golden skeleton and entered the depths of the Black Demon Cliff. Lin Xian was wrapped in a golden light and left Black Demon Cliff. Hall Master, you're here. Outside Black Demon Cliff, the Saint of Immortal Palace was waiting. When Lin Xian came out, they directly opened the jade door and returned to Immortal Palace. After returning to Immortal Palace, Lin Xian also let out a sigh of relief. Everything that had happened before was like a dream. He had actually quelled the dark rebellion. It was truly inconceivable. Whom a cold light erupted from his eyes. Although he had stopped the chaos in the darkness, the 10,000 ancient races absolutely wouldn't give up so easily. Next, there would probably be another fierce battle. Of course, the main force of this battle would be the younger generation. According to the information they had received, there was a reason why the 10,000 ancient races had revived at this time. It was because they had deduced that the legendary Immortal Gate would open in this era. In other words, in this era, there would be a great emperor who could successfully open the Immortal Gate and become the legendary immortal. And to become an immortal, one must first become a great emperor. However, becoming a great emperor was simply too difficult. Countless geniuses would embark on the path of becoming a great emperor, but in the end, only one person could reach the peak. And in this era, the difficulty would increase by 100 times. This was because in the past it was only an internal competition of the human race. But in this era, the 10,000 ancient races had revived. In addition to the geniuses of the other sacred grounds, the human race's geniuses also had to face the peerless geniuses of the 10,000 ancient races. They even had to face the princes and princesses. It was too difficult. It was simply too difficult. The path of becoming a great emperor this time would probably surpass the past. No one could have predicted it. Lin Xian also clenched his fists, his gaze resolute. He would definitely walk the path of becoming a great emperor. So what if the geniuses of the 10,000 ancient races appeared? So what if the princes and princesses appeared? He had to defeat all the strong opponents and successfully reach the peak. Taking a deep breath, Lin Xian began to cultivate in seclusion. First, he restored his body to its peak state. Then, Lin Xian began to cultivate the nine-yang divine body. This time, after entering the greater success divine body, Lin Xian knew what the final state of the nine-yang divine body was like. This was very clear about the path he wanted to take in the future. Therefore, this cultivation was twice the result with half the effort. Not long after, his nine-yang divine body broke through and reached the third level. Reaching the third level, his strength would undergo a tremendous change. His nine-yang divine body could be considered to have entered the lesser success realm. Not only that, this time, Lin Xian obtained the cultivation method of the last 6 levels of the nine-yang divine body. At the same time, he also obtained the cultivation method of the nine-yang sword technique. It could be said that he was now the true successor of the nine-yang divine body. Of course, at the same time, he was also the successor of the great dragon. He was looking forward to the fusion of the great dragon sword soul and the nine-yang sword technique. Lin Xian still remembered the power of the fusion. It was too terrifying. Next, Lin Xian began to comprehend the nine-yang sword technique. The nine-yang sword technique was divided into 9 levels. Lin Xian began to comprehend the first level. This meditation lasted for a year. A year later, he opened his eyes and came out of seclusion. He had already mastered the first level of the nine-yang sword technique. He felt that he had encountered some bottlenecks and needed to come out to train. How was the situation outside? Lin Xian asked. That day, after the dark turmoil subsided, his father, Lord Alcohol, Xiajiu, and the others left together. This made Lin Xian have no time to meet with them. However, before leaving, Lin Xian also said that he wanted Lin Xian to break through to become a sage as soon as possible. In the future, they would have plenty of opportunities to fight side by side. Lin Xian was filled with anticipation. The opportunity to fight side by side. Could it be that there would be even more terrifying things in the future? He didn't know. However, he knew that increasing his strength was the only way. Hall Master. This is the main thing that happened in the past year. An elder of Immortal Palace brought over some scrolls. These were all information from a year ago. Lin Xian scanned it with his soul spirit and nodded slightly. Just as he had expected, after the dark turmoil subsided, the geniuses of the 10,000 ancient races came out one after another. Because he had suppressed the 10,000 ancient races, their territory wasn't too big. Therefore, the geniuses of the 10,000 ancient races often appeared in the various cities of the human race. At first, the human race was shocked and couldn't adapt. However, after a year, they gradually accepted the existence of a few long monster heads on the side of the road from time to time. Although these 10,000 ancient races were unruly and fierce, they had signed the archaic Treaty of Alliance. Therefore, they wouldn't casually attack the human race. For a time, both sides were safe and sound. However, the clashes between the top geniuses became more and more intense. On this day, the entire true spirit world changed again. Chapter 2889. The world changed once again, because Lin Xian had come out. Lin Xian, such a resounding name. It could be said that everyone in the quintessential world knew of him. Although they might not have seen Lin Xian before, all of them knew his name, from cultivators to sages, because they knew that it was Lin Xian who had quelled the Darkness Rebellion. The 10,000 ancient races gritted their teeth in anger. Their sages were not allowed to attack, but those below the sages snorted coldly, especially those prodigies. They all said that Lin Xian was the protector of the human race who had quelled the Darkness Rebellion, and that he had only borrowed the power of a greater mastery divine body. That's right. How could he be compared to the sages with his own power? Not to mention the sages, he couldn't even beat them. Many powerful prodigies said that they would kill Lin Xian with their own hands, because they now knew that Lin Xian had only been able to display such power because he had obtained the corpse of a greater mastery divine body. Without the divine body of great accomplishment, there was no need for them to fear the other party's strength. Watermoon City. It was a very famous city in the middle ground. It was vast and boundless, like a small pot. At this moment, in addition to countless human cultivators, there were also many ancient creatures in the city. These 10,000 ancient races also walked or lived in Watermoon City. After more than a year, the cultivators in Watermoon City had already gotten used to it. But today they were shocked again because the ancient creatures in Watermoon City were very excited. They welcomed a few terrifying figures. One of them was covered in platinum light. With every step he took, the entire city trembled. This was the prodigy of the Silver Race. Young Master, you're here. Countless primordial life forms of the Silver Clan surrounded that prodigy. Wong, a green-faced man with fangs walked in. He looked like a devil that had crawled out of hell. He was the prodigy of the green ghost race. There was another who was even more terrifying. He was covered in golden light and had a pair of golden wings on his back. He looked like an angel descending from the sky. This was the prodigy of the Skyrock race. This time, they weren't ordinary geniuses. They were all core geniuses, and some were even young lords of their respective clans. After all, Lin Xian wasn't weak. He was one of the top prodigies of the human race. The 10,000 ancient races naturally had to send out their top prodigies to fight him. Other than that, there was also the young Yiksha king, a prodigy of the Yiksha race, the prodigy of the Black Tiger clan. In fact, a few young prodigies of the dragon race walked out of the nest of 10,000 dragons. The dragon blood on their bodies surged. The dragon patterns on their bodies were abnormally powerful. As soon as they appeared, those archaic creatures all bowed respectfully. It couldn't be helped. In their eyes, the dragon clan was the most sacred existence. Although the ones who came this time weren't the Dragon Crown Prince, they were still the top geniuses of the dragon race. At this moment, they had gathered in Shuewa City to discuss how to kill Lin Xian. Of course, they would not launch a sneak attack. They would kill the other party openly in front of the whole world. Damn it, these primeval life forms are truly too arrogant. How long has it been? It's only been a year. Have they already forgotten the pain from before? There were also some human cultivators who snorted coldly. Among them, there were many followers of Lin Xian. That's right. How could they be a match for great God Lin Xian? Even their patriarch wasn't a match for great God Lin Xian, let alone them. Discussions could be heard one after another. After hearing this, the faces of those prodigies turned gloomy. The primeval life forms beside them sneered. Foolish humans, what do you know? That kid was arrogant before because he relied on the corpse of a greater success stage divine body. Without the corpse of a greater success stage divine body, how could he be a match for our patriarch? That's right, our patriarch can kill him with a single glance. Not to mention our patriarch, he can't even beat our young lord. Just you wait. Today, we will let you see the strength of our young lord. These primeval life forms gritted their teeth in anger. Indeed, the dark turmoil a year ago was their greatest humiliation. Therefore, today they would use the blood of the other party to wash away this humiliation. Among them, the young lord of the Bayin clan even snorted coldly. If he dares to come, I will take his head with my hand. This person was very powerful. As he spoke, the entire void trembled. It couldn't be helped. The Bayin clan one was known as the uncrowned king. His strength was truly terrifying. As expected, his voice shook the surrounding human cultivators, causing their blood to boil. They kept retreating with trembling faces. Too powerful. Although these primeval life forms were arrogant, their strength was really too strong. Most likely, not many people here would be able to contend against him. Take off my head with one hand? Is that so? You're very arrogant. At this moment, a cold voice sounded. Following that, a figure descended from the sky. Everyone looked up. Those primeval life forms rarely appeared in the void. It's you. Lin Xian, great god Lin Xian is here. The human cultivators also screamed. As expected, the person who descended from the sky was none other than Lin Xian. He was dressed in a black robe that carried an indescribable weight. His eyes were like stars that had been extinguished. In an instant, he arrived at Water Moon City. He arrived in front of these primeval life forms. Whoosh! The Crimson Dragon also came out. He looked at the other party with a face full of excitement. Great, there was primeval blood to drink. He stared at the primeval life forms and grinned. Damn it, you're courting death. These primeval life forms were so angry that they vomited blood. The other party actually dared to have designs on them and treat them as prey. How could they tolerate this? Kid, you're too arrogant. Now that you don't have the corpse of a phenomenal success divine body as a backing, you don't have the right to be arrogant in front of us. A few primeval life forms of the Dragon Clan walked out. Their expressions were cold, and their eyes were filled with piercing, killing intent. That day, the other party used a phenomenal success divine body to suppress their nest of 10,000 dragons. This made everyone know, and it also made them lose face. Therefore, today they had to wash away their shame. The other primeval life forms of the primeval life forms also snorted coldly and surrounded Lin Xian. Lin Xian sneered. I was wondering who it was. You want to challenge me? So it's you losers. His disdainful voice sounded. Even your saints and patriarchs are no match for me. How dare you ants be arrogant in front of me? Hurry up and get lost. I'm in a good mood today, so I won't kill you. You're courting death. The primeval life forms of the nest of 10,000 dragons were furious. The God Empress and the other primeval life forms were also furious. The other party's nonchalant attitude made their lungs about to explode. Damn it! I want to see what right you have to be arrogant today. The two Dragon Clan geniuses stood out. On the other side, the Silver Race, Blue Ghoul Race, and Yiksha Race all came out and surrounded Lin Xian. In an instant, the blood chi on these people's bodies surged into the sky. The surrounding scene changed drastically, and the void cracked open. Chapter 2890. Terrifying phantoms surrounded them. Each of them emitted a powerful aura, suppressing the humans until their faces turned pale. Even the invincible king swallowed his saliva, unable to resist at all. So powerful, too powerful. These primordial elites were too terrifying. They could already kill invincible kings. Indeed, the older generation of the human race sighed. They had to admit that their bloodlines were heaven-defying and their strength was terrifying. I'm afraid there aren't many in the younger generation of the human race who can compete with them. These human powerhouses trembled in fear, but Lin Xian was not afraid at all. He looked at the primordial elites in front of him calmly. Are you the ones who want to challenge me? All right, I'll give you a chance. But think carefully. The outcome of challenging me is death. As he finished speaking, a biting cold aura erupted from his body and shot into the clouds. Do you think you can kill us? Without a greater success, divine body, you are nothing. A dragon race prodigy stood out. He had a ferocious dragon head and his body was covered in scales. Behind him, there was a huge tail that was incomparably ferocious. I'll be able to kill you in 3 moves. This dragon race prodigy was incomparably domineering. Watch carefully. My first move is to die. The dragon race prodigy roared, and the blood in his body rumbled. Dragon blood surged. Streams of dragon blood appeared and formed swords of killing intent. Together with the fists of the dragon race prodigy, the swords of killing intent continued to smash forward. So terrifying. Every killing sword could easily kill an invincible king. The dragon race prodigy was too terrifying. Heavens, he was only a peerless mighty figure, but he could release such terrifying combat strength. The human cultivators were terrified. The 10,000 Archean races sneered. As expected of the dragon race prodigy, he was indeed powerful. That kid was definitely dead. This time, there was at least 29,000 Archean power. Go to hell, brat. The dragon race prodigy revealed a sinister smile, and his cold eyes emitted a terrifying killing intent. He realized that he had overestimated his opponent. Perhaps this attack could kill him. Whoosh! Facing such a terrifying attack, Lin Xian did not move at all. He only attacked when the other party was 10 meters away from him. His speed was very fast. In an instant, he withdrew his palm and stood with his hands clasped behind his back. So much so that no one could clearly see how he had made his move. Boom! Boom! In the sky, the murderous aura formed by the dragon blood suddenly exploded, turning into a rain of blood that scattered in the sky. The body of the dragon race prodigy was split into 2 from the middle. With a thud, he fell to the ground. What? Everyone's expression stiffened in disbelief. He was dead. An incomparably terrifying genius of the dragon race, an attack that could easily pierce through an invincible king, had been neutralized just like that? Moreover, even a genius had been killed. How was this possible? Damn it! Did Lin Xian make a move just now? It was too fast. He didn't see clearly what kind of divine ability he had used. He didn't know. It seemed like a casual attack, but these people went crazy. The human experts widened their eyes in disbelief. The Archean life forms were even more stunned. This was especially the case for the archaic geniuses. They looked as though they had just seen a ghost. That was a genius of the dragon race. He was so strong that even the archaic kings of the older generation might not be a match for him. However, he had been killed in a single move. What was going on? Damn it, what kind of trick did this kid use? A sneak attack. He must have used a sneak attack. Damn it, he couldn't have used a sacred weapon, right? These people's faces were also full of shock, because they also didn't see clearly what had happened. Lin Xian stood with his hands crossed. He looked at the corpse of the dragon race prodigy below and sneered. Then he looked up and swept his gaze forward. Who else wants to challenge me? Hurry up and come. As soon as he said that, everyone fell silent. No one from the 10,000 ancient races said anything. No one stepped forward. Many Archean life forms retreated. They couldn't help it. The other party was too strong. They originally thought that the other party was an ant without a phenomenal divine body that they could easily kill. But now it seemed that they were wrong. Even if the other party didn't have a phenomenal divine body to rely on, his true strength was still very terrifying. Damn it, I don't believe it. He can't be so strong. He must have used some kind of forbidden technique. A prodigy from the Yiksha race snorted. I'll kill you. As soon as he came up, he unleashed his fiendish night realm and enveloped the entire space. No matter how strong the other party's attack was, he would first use his strongest defense. Then he waved the long spear in his hand and thrust it out. Go to hell, brat. The power of the spear was very terrifying. It wasn't any weaker than the dragon race prodigy's attack. The Yiksha race was also a very terrifying race. They were extremely cruel and violent. They were also very powerful. Seeing this scene, the human cultivators held their breaths again. Meanwhile, the Archean prodigies all widened their eyes and stared at Lin Xian. They wanted to see clearly what kind of ultimate move the other party was using. In the next moment, Lin Xian attacked. When the Yiksha prodigy arrived, he threw a punch. This punch was extremely violent. It was like the fist of the god of war, engulfing the sky and sweeping up the divine fire. Boom! The punch was earth-shattering. The Yiksha realm suddenly shattered. The divine spear was blasted into pieces, and the Yiksha prodigy's body was also torn apart. Dead again. Another Archean prodigy was killed in a single move. This scene caused everyone to be dumbfounded. Even the geniuses from the supreme ancient immortal realms felt the same way. They saw clearly that the other party didn't use any forbidden weapon, nor was it a sage's weapon. Instead, he directly used his fist to attack. Damn it! When did this kid's 9-yang divine body become so powerful? Damn it! Could it be that he still has the greater mastery divine body? The Archean prodigies were going crazy. They quickly retreated and put a safe distance between them. There was no other way. It was too suspicious. 1 pound. The Crimson Dragon sneered. A bunch of idiots. If it's really the greater mastery divine body, do you think you can survive? You probably can't even withstand a glance from me. As he said that, he put away the bodies of the dragon race prodigy and the Yiksha prodigy. He could make a good tonic soup later. Uft. As soon as he said that, the human cultivators' mouths twitched. The Archean prodigies were so angry that they vomited blood. What? Is he really going to eat us? Damn it, he's treating us as food. This was intolerable. This kid is too strange. Let's hurry back and find out more about him first. The Archean prodigies were unwilling to stay any longer. They decided to leave first. That was because the other party was too terrifying. They turned around, but a voice was heard. Wait, did I say you can leave? As soon as the voice was heard, the Archean prodigies froze. Then they turned around and roared angrily. Damn kid, how dare you stop us? I. Chapter 2891. Do you want to die? Who do you think you are? Do you really think you can fight against all of us? At most, we'll attack together. Can you fight against us? The archaic Skyprides roared crazily. The other party killed 2 of their companions on the spot. Not only that, he even wanted to stop them. The other party was too arrogant. Lin Xian sneered. You guys are so arrogant. Didn't you think that you went overboard when you wanted to kill me? What's wrong now? Can't take it anymore? I'm just using the same method to return the favor to you. Lin Xian walked forward and stared at the Sky Pride from the Silver Clan. You were the one who said you could take my head with 1 hand, right? All right, I'll stand here and wait for you. Let's see if you have the ability to do so. Damn it. The Sky Pride from the Silver Clan changed his expression. Lin Xian was targeting him. This was not good. Previously, he had said confidently that the other party was an ant that he could kill with 1 hand. However, after watching the previous two battles, he changed his mind. The other party was strong and definitely not weaker than him. Even if he went all out, he was not confident that he could kill the other party. Therefore, what he said about taking the other party's head with one hand didn't count at all. Seeing that the other party didn't speak, Lin Xian sneered. Why? You don't dare? I heard that the Silver Clan is called the Uncrowned King. Is that all you have? Oh, that's right. Your ancestor was killed by a human powerhouse with one punch. I guess a junior like you can't do much. Hurry up and get lost. Su Chan waved his hand impatiently. Kid, you're courting death. The Sky Pride from the Silver Clan was enraged after hearing this. Let's fight then. I'm not afraid of you. The Sky Pride stood out. Silver light bloomed from his body, turning into a terrifying mountain that pressed down on the void. Although the other party was strong, he was very confident in himself. The Silver Clan had a strong physique and terrifying bloodline power. So what if the other party had the 9-yang divine body? He didn't think that his physique would lose to the other party. Kid, I'll let you know that the Silver Clan is not to be trifled with. The Sky Pride of the Silver Race said coldly. Lin Xian waved his hand and stretched out one of his hands while the other remained behind his back. How about this? I'll give you a handicap of one hand. One hand, I'll take off your head. The other party had said this before, but Lin Xian was going to do it. He wanted to use his most powerful stance to suppress his opponent. The genius of the Silver Tribe was so angry that he was trembling. How dare the other party look down on him? With a furious roar, his body shone with boundless light. Brat, today is the day you die. With a sway of his body, he tore through the void and charged over. In an instant, he rushed in front of Lin Xian. He stretched out his palm and slammed it down, causing the void to collapse. The silver light on his body soared into the clouds, forming a silver storm that danced in the sky. The experts of the human race were breathing heavily. They were pressed to the ground, unable to resist. It was too terrifying. This palm strike truly had the power to destroy the heavens and earth. Was this the Bayin clan? He was too powerful, as expected of the uncrowned king. Even those ancient life forms were trembling in fear. Looking at the palm strike, their faces were full of fear. That brat was dead meat. He had definitely underestimated the Bayin clan. The title of uncrowned king was not for nothing. Gee, the archaic Sky Pride snorted coldly. The people of the human race also felt their scalps go numb. Su Chin narrowed his eyes. To be honest, the other party was very powerful. He had surpassed the Sky Prides of the human race. There were probably not many among the younger generation of the human race who could compete with him. The title of uncrowned king was indeed well-deserved. However, it was a pity that the other party had encountered him. In the next moment, he stretched out his palm and grabbed in front of him. With a grab, he directly pierced through the silver light that filled the sky. On his palm, the 9 suns' divine fire and golden runes flickered. It was as if the palm of the golden god of war was grabbing in the air. Boom! Boom! The silver light was broken, and the terrifying power was shattered. The golden palm directly grabbed the head of the Bayin clan. With a crack, the other party's neck was broken. Poof! Silver blood splattered, and the head of the Bayin clan prodigy was forcefully torn off. Ah! The Bayin clan prodigy roared crazily as blood flowed continuously. His body did not have a head, but he still charged towards Lin Xian. However, he was sent flying by Lin Xian's kick, directly disappearing into the clouds. His head was lifted into the air by Lin Xian, and he let out a miserable cry. Damn brat, I'm going to kill you. The head of the Bayin clan prodigy opened his mouth and spat out a silver stream. It was like a silver sword that flew directly towards Lin Xian's head. He wanted to cut off Lin Xian's head too. With a clang, 2 balls of golden light burst out from Lin Xian's eyes and directly sent the silver flying sword flying. In the next moment, he exerted force in his palm, and the other party's head was covered in cracks. He was on the verge of death, as if he would split open at any time. Looking at this scene, everyone was stunned. Their faces were filled with fear. In one move, the other party had taken the head of the Bayin clan prodigy. Heavens! They originally thought that Lin Xian was just saying that to suppress the other party's arrogance. However, they did not expect that the other party was not just saying that. The other party had used actual actions to prove his words. He had taken the other party's head with one hand. Impossible! Damn it, this is absolutely impossible. How could this brat be so powerful? The other 10,000 Archean race prodigies were horrified as if they had seen a ghost. The Archean creatures knelt on the ground, trembling. The experts of the human race were also stunned. Was this the top prodigy of the human race? He was too powerful, far surpassing the other Archean prodigies. The Bayin clan prodigy screamed crazily with his head in the air. Damn it, I don't believe it. He was really crazy. He was so powerful that he had reached 30,000 Archean power. Among the younger generation of the Archean era, he was an extremely terrifying existence. One had to know that an ordinary sage only had 18,000 Archean power. The top sages only had 20,000 Archean power, but he had 30,000 Archean power. He had far surpassed the human race's prodigies. Therefore, he did not take any human prodigies seriously. But now, the other party had taken his head in one move. This made him unable to believe it. Could it be that the other party's strength had exceeded 30,000 Archean power? Moreover, it should be far more than his. How could there be such a terrifying existence among the younger generation of the human race? Lin Xian sneered. Now, do you still dare to challenge me? Damn brat, I was too careless. Let go of me, and let's fight to the death again. I will definitely not lose to you. The Bayin clan prodigy roared crazily. He could not accept this fact. Humph! Lin Xian sneered. Let you go? You are too naive. I've said it before. You can fight me, but the price is death. Are you ready now? If you have any last words, leave them. Chapter 2892. You want to kill me? The sky pride of the Silver Tribe screamed in horror. You can't kill me. I'm from the Silver Tribe. We're the uncrowned kings. If you kill me, the Silver Tribe won't let me off. Lin Xian sneered. This kind of threat won't affect me. You'd better come up with some other reason. Otherwise, I won't let you off. You're courting death. At this moment, there was a roar. In the distance, the headless corpse charged over again. 2 silver spears appeared in his hands and pierced through the void. They turned into silver dragons and descended from the sky, trying to save the head. This was an all-out attack. He had even used the power of his bloodline. However, it was shattered by Lin Xian's punch. The 9 Suns' divine fist directly smashed the headless corpse into pieces. What other tricks do you have? Use them now. Otherwise, you won't have a chance. Lin Xian said indifferently. The divine fire on his body spread, and his palm was covered with a terrifying divine light. It was like a sun. No, damn it. The sky pride of the Silver Tribe was in despair. He didn't have any trump cards to use now. Moreover, even if he used them, he probably wouldn't be able to hurt Lin Xian. That was because Lin Xian didn't use any superpower pills. He was beaten to the point where he couldn't fight back with just his physical strength. Just as he was about to be engulfed by the 9 Suns' divine fire, a majestic voice came from the sky. Junior, let go of him or die. The voice was like thunder, accompanied by thousands of silver lights that turned into sharp swords that descended from the sky. They shrouded Lin Xian. However, as soon as the silver light descended, Lin Xian let out a cold laugh. With a grab of his hand, the head of the Silver Tribe's genius was crushed into pieces. The soul screamed and tried to escape, but it was killed by Lin Xian's sword light. The The sword light of the great dragon sword soul could destroy the void, let alone the opponent's soul. What? His soul is destroyed. The sky pride of the Archean era was terrified. The Archean creatures were scared out of their wits. What kind of technique is this? He directly killed the sky pride of the Silver Tribe. It was too terrifying. In the sky, the expert who suddenly appeared also roared, "You're courting death!" Following his fury, the silver sword light that filled the sky transformed into a terrifying rain of swords. It was like a meteor that descended from the sky. Boom! Boom! The void cracked open, and the entire ancient city shook. This was too terrifying. Were they going to destroy the entire city? The martial artists inside were terrified. It had been more than a year since something like this had happened. Who would have thought that after Lin Xian came out, such a shocking battle would occur again? If the city was destroyed, all of them would be killed. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He did not dodge, because if he did, the city would be affected. Therefore, he waved his fist and charged forward. Boom! The Nine Suns' divine fist was unleashed with an imposing aura. It was as if thousands of suns were soaring into the sky. It collided with the silver light that filled the sky, causing the heavens to collapse and the earth to split. The void turned into nothingness, spreading in all directions. Those who were slightly weaker directly fainted from the shock. Those who were stronger also felt their chi and blood churn. Fortunately, the fist was not aimed at them. Just the aftermath of the energy was already too much for them to handle. If they were hit by the energy, no one would be able to stop it. After the attack, the silver light that filled the sky disappeared, and the Nine Suns' divine fist also slowly dissipated in the sky. Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back. His eyes turned into sharp swords that pierced through the void. "Who's that? How dare you attack me?" He frowned. The other party was very powerful, surpassing the sky pride of the Silver Tribe. Could it be that an even more terrifying, archaic sky pride has descended? He frowned. The others also looked at the sky. In the next moment, they were extremely shocked. An archaic king. That's right. In the sky, the clouds churned and a figure appeared. It was a silver-white god of war. He was tall and held a silver scythe in his hand. He looked like a god-fiend with a murderous aura. He quickly descended. "Damn brat! How dare you kill the sky pride of the Silver Tribe? I want you dead." He was an archaic king of the Silver Tribe. At this moment, he was emitting a murderous aura. The human powerhouses were filled with fear. Heavens, it's the archaic king of the Silver Tribe. He's a true invincible king. His strength is absolutely heaven-defying. Lin Xian is probably in danger. Isn't there the archaic Treaty of Alliance? Archaic powerhouses are not allowed to attack? The human cultivators exclaimed. They were worried for Lin Xian. On the opposite side, a sky pride of the blue ghoul race sneered. "Idiot, the archaic Treaty of Alliance states that saints are not allowed to attack." However, an archaic king was in existence below the saints. Naturally, he could attack. If there's someone to blame, blame the brat for being too idiotic. He actually dared to kill a sky pride of the Silver Tribe. In their opinion, Lin Xian was dead meat, although the other party was a sky pride of the younger generation. How could he defeat a true archaic king? Seeing that it was the other party's archaic king, Lin Xian also sneered with a trace of disdain in his eyes. "Who did I think it was? So it's an archaic king. Hurry up and get lost. I've killed at least 800 people like you." Indeed, when he had fused with the greater success divine body, he could turn countless archaic kings into blood mist with a single glance. Therefore, what he said was true. However, the other party's archaic king was so angry that he vomited blood. His expression was cold. "Brat, you're too arrogant. Do you think that you still have a greater success divine body? I admit that you were very powerful during the darkness turmoil. You could kill everything with a single glance. But now You're just an ordinary member of the younger generation. Without a greater success, divine body, killing you is like slaughtering a dog. You still want to kill me? Do you have the ability?" Lin Xian shouted coldly and took a step forward. His 9-yang divine body emitted light. The divine fire transformed into fire dragons that intertwined on his body. Not only that, but there were also dragon roars and sword cries in his body. Terrifying sword energy pierced through the clouds. A powerful force was displayed. How terrifying! Lin Xian actually had such terrifying power. Everyone was terrified. They discovered that the power Lin Xian displayed now was much stronger than before. In other words, the other party didn't use his full strength at all. Heavens, he didn't use his full strength and killed the Silver Clan's prodigy in one move. If he used his full strength, how terrifying would it be? Could it be that he can really contend against an archaic king? They didn't dare to imagine. In the sky, the Silver Clan's archaic king also frowned. He had to admit that the other party was very powerful. His aura was beyond his expectations. No wonder he could kill the Silver Clan's prodigy. But so what? No matter how strong the other party was, he was no match for him. He definitely had to kill the other party. Therefore, in the next moment, he snorted coldly. Murderous intent surged from his body, turning into a killing god domain that suppressed downward. "I'm not afraid of you," Lin Xian shouted coldly. Endless flames condensed, forming a long flame sword that he held in his hand. A terrifying sword intent spread out as if it was going to split the sky and earth. Chapter 2893. Just as the battle was about to break out, a thunderous voice sounded. "Stop!" In Watermoon City, a few figures quickly rose into the air and arrived nearby in an instant. They flew into the air and blocked Lin Xian and the primordial king of the Silver Clan. The 3 people who came out were the invincible kings of the human race. They were here to stop the battle. Seeing this scene, the human race cultivators heaved a sigh of relief, while the primordial elites snorted coldly, especially the Silver Race's primordial king. His voice was cold. "You dare to stop me?" He frowned. "You dare to stop me? Die." It had to be said that the Silver Race's primordial king was too strong. He didn't put the human race's invincible kings in his eyes at all. The human race's invincible kings also had gloomy expressions. The atmosphere was tense to the extreme. Lin Xian waved his hand. "Everyone, don't worry about me. I'll stand with him." His small face was also cold. The other party was too arrogant. Did they really think that he was easy to bully? After the dark turmoil last time, his strength had increased greatly. The 9-yang divine body was now at the small success stage. It was definitely not something that the other party could look down on. The other party actually dared to provoke him today. He would let the other party know the consequences of provoking him. When these words came out, everyone was stunned. Lin Xian actually wanted to fight the primordial king? Heavens, this was too shocking. One had to know. Lin Xian was no longer in the large success stage divine body, but with his own strength. Fighting the primordial king head-on was definitely not an ordinary battle strength. The primordial king was even stronger than the invincible kings of the human race. Moreover, the other party's bloodline power was extremely terrifying. It was very difficult for ordinary young geniuses to challenge someone of a higher level. But now Lin Xian was so determined. Could it be that he really had the strength to fight against the primordial king? Even the 10,000 ancient races were dumbfounded. Soon they sneered. This kid really didn't know what was good for him. That's right, he was probably blinded by anger. Who did he think he was? Was he still in the large success stage divine body? These people sneered disdainfully. In the sky, the 3 invincible kings of the human race frowned. The Silver Race's primordial king sneered. "What a reckless brat! Since you want to challenge me, I'll fulfill your wish." He looked towards the three invincible kings of the human race. You heard it. He was the one who took the initiative to fight with me. Why aren't you scramming? He took a step forward, and the murderous aura on his body surged. It was as if it had turned into a vast silver ocean that swept over from all directions. Damn it! The three invincible kings of the human clan also roared furiously and launched terrifying attacks, one after another. The attacks of the two sides collided, devouring the sky and splitting the earth. After that attack, they did not continue to attack. Instead, they turned to look at Lin Xian. You really want to attack? Lin Xian nodded firmly. However, the three unrivaled kings still frowned. They said, since you guys want to fight, then we can fight. However, since Hall Master Lin was from the younger generation, why not set the time limit of 10 moves? Lin Xian was the benefactor of the entire human race who had stopped the great chaos of the Dark World. These three invincible kings naturally didn't want anything to happen to him. However, given the current situation, they had no choice but to fight. Therefore, they set the time limit of 10 moves. Thinking about it, Lin Xian should be able to resist them. All right, as you wish. The primordial king of the silver race revealed a sinister smile. Not to mention 10 moves, he could kill Lin Xian in 1 move. Therefore, he didn't care at all. Lin Xian also nodded. In the next moment, the three invincible kings of the human race swayed and quickly retreated to the side. The surrounding immemorial creatures and humans also retreated. The array formation of Water Moon City was activated. Countless runes densely packed together and covered the surroundings. Brat, you're too reckless. Do you really think you can fight against me? The primordial king's eyes were filled with killing intent. Today, I will personally send you to hell. Hell? Lin Xian sneered. You? I'm afraid you don't have the right. You're courting death. Hearing this, the primordial king of the silver race trembled with anger. He roared angrily, and the silver light on his body scattered. A huge hand came crashing down in front of him, covering the sky and covering the earth. Buzz, Lin Xian didn't stand on ceremony. He used the 9-yang divine body and punched out. His arm was like a true dragon, moving freely in the sky. His palm turned into a dragon's head. It was extremely terrifying. Boom! With one strike, 10,000 bolts of lightning descended. Lin Xian took 3 steps back. After removing the force, the array formation under his feet cracked. In the sky, the silver palm was blocked and slowly dissipated. He blocked it. He actually blocked the attack of the Silver Pearl Primordial King. Heavens, isn't this brat's strength too terrifying? The 9-yang divine body. His 9-yang divine body must have become stronger again. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to block it. This brat is too abnormal. Exclamations sounded one after another. They didn't expect Lin Xian's physique to be so strong. One had to know that the Silver Race Group 1 was the uncrowned king. Their primordial king was extremely powerful. Moreover, the physique of the Silver Race was also extremely terrifying. The silver body was extremely famous. Now, Lin Xian was able to fight against an invincible king with his physical body. This was absolutely shocking. Sure enough, the face of the Silver Race's primordial king was terrifyingly gloomy. Lin Xian's mouth raised into a smile. The silver body was only so. Do you dare to compete with me in pure physical strength? As soon as these words came out, the eyes of the 3 invincible kings of the human race lit up. It seemed that this brat wasn't stupid. Indeed, in terms of cultivation, the Silver Race's primordial king was definitely stronger. However, in terms of pure physical strength, it might not be the case. After all, Lin Xian cultivated the 9-yang divine body, a terrifying physique that had been lost. Perhaps he could really block the attack of the Silver Race's primordial king. Humph! The Silver Race Group 1's primordial king snorted coldly. Brat, since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish. Do you think you can contend against me with pure physical strength? To be honest, even if he didn't use his divine ability, so what if he used pure physical strength? He was still confident that he could defeat his opponent. Is that so? Next, I'll let you know what it means to have an invincible physical body. Lin Xian's mouth raised into a sneer. Now that his 9-yang divine body had reached the small success stage, it could be said that, in terms of pure physical strength, he was extremely terrifying. Even if his opponent was an invincible king with a silver body, he might not be able to compete with him. In the next moment, his arm was like a dragon as he attacked again. His 5 fingers formed a mountain and descended from the sky. You're courting death. Seeing that his opponent dared to take the initiative to attack, the Silver Race's primordial king was enraged. His white hair fluttered, and silver runes shone around him. Accompanied by his fist, he blasted forward. Boom! Boom, boom! In the sky, the sound of an intense collision rang out. The void was torn apart one after another. 2 moves, 3 moves, 10 moves. After 3 consecutive punches, everyone was shocked. Lin Xian's physical strength was indeed comparable to the Silver Race's invincible king. This scene made the primordial Sky Pride's face turn ugly. Chapter 2894. On the other hand, the humans heaved a sigh of relief. From the looks of it, it shouldn't be a problem to withstand 10 moves. However, they still underestimated Lin Xian. What Lin Xian wanted was not only to withstand the other party's attack. Buzz! At the 5th move, Lin Xian roared, and the 9-yang divine body emitted an even more resplendent light. With a wave of his palm, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Nothing could withstand it. Bang! This palm slapped towards the other party's head. A terrifying golden light shot into the sky, vast and mighty for tens of thousands of miles, pressing down on those people until they couldn't breathe. The 9-yang divine palm was incomparably terrifying, as if a peerless god of war had descended from the sky. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Silver Fist! The Silver Clan's primordial king also snorted coldly and waved his fist. How could he lose to the other party in terms of physical strength? However, in the next moment, his expression changed. This collision actually caused cracks to appear on his arm. Silver blood dripped into the void. He was injured. The Silver King's palm actually cracked. Damn it, how was this possible? Everyone was stupefied. The Silver King even let out a miserable cry, his eyes and mouth wide open in disbelief. Impossible, how could I be injured? With a furious roar, silver light flickered quickly, completely enveloping his arm and restoring it. However, in the next moment, Lin Xian's attack came again. The golden beast's palm covered the sky and the earth, blasting towards the other party's head. Damn it! The Silver King was completely enraged. He raised his arm again to block. Dang! At this moment, the bones in his arm also cracked and blood burst out again. Lin Xian sneered. You think it's easy to kill me? Today I'll tear your mouth apart. He was indeed angry, so he didn't hold back at all. The 9-yang divine palm opened and closed, quickly blasting out one palm after another. The other party's arm was broken and deformed. In the end, the palm directly slapped the other party's face. With a crack, the other party's teeth were completely shattered, and half of his face was deformed. His body spun in the sky and blasted on the array formation in the distance. With a bang, the array formation shattered, and the Silver Clan's primordial king fell to the ground, vomiting blood continuously. Everyone was stunned. They couldn't believe it. In a contest of pure physical strength, the primeval king of the Argent clan had actually lost. Could it be that the 9-yang divine body was so terrifying? Or could it be that Lin Xian had already reached an extremely high level? He didn't know. The Archean prodigies were all stunned. Even the invincible kings were shocked. Lin Xian sneered. Was this the pride of the Silver Clan? You're nothing in front of me. You dare to be arrogant in front of me with such little capital. Old bastard, the fact that you can exchange 10 moves with me is the result of your hundreds and thousands of years of cultivation. If you were from the younger generation, I could kill you with one slap. Lin Xian shouted coldly without any trace of politeness. Hearing those words, the archaic king of the Baiyin clan spurted blood once more. He roared at the sky, his silver hair fluttering in the wind. The light on his body soared into the sky. Damn brat, I'll definitely kill you. With a roar, a terrifying silver phantom appeared on his body. The entire ground was cracking, and the formation couldn't be controlled and would shatter at any time. Divine ability. At this moment, the primeval king of the Baiyin clan finally used his divine ability. He wanted to kill the other party at all costs. Seeing this scene, the 3 invincible kings of the human race changed their expressions. The 3 of them quickly attacked and landed. You said that you won't use divine ability. Moreover, 10 moves have passed, you can't attack anymore. They wouldn't allow the other party to use divine ability here. Otherwise, the entire Watermoon City would be destroyed. You dare to control me? Get lost. The Silver King was completely crazy. What agreement of 10 moves, what not allowing the use of divine ability, he didn't care at all. He must kill this brat in front of him. However, these 3 invincible kings of the human race were not to be trifled with. They also counterattacked quickly. For a time, a shocking collision erupted again, and the formation was torn apart. This was the primeval king? You don't keep your word. Really, you want to fight with your life when you can't win? How shameless. Do you want to film us, saints, to bully you? The surrounding human race martial artists were also angry. They felt that they were indeed angry. The other party didn't keep his word. He couldn't afford to lose. Lin Xian also snorted coldly. Why? Can't afford to play. Want to compete with me in divine ability. However, not here. Let's go to the ancient arena to fight. Lin Xian wasn't afraid at all. He knew that this kind of giant city had a martial arts arena left behind from ancient times. It was specially used for powerhouses to compete. Fighting there wouldn't destroy the entire city. As soon as these words came out, everyone was shocked. Lin Xian, was he really going to fight the other party to the death? In terms of divine ability, could Lin Xian really contend with it? They didn't know. However, Lin Xian was really too domineering now, making these human race martial artists blood boil. On the other side, the Silver King was so angry that he vomited blood. To be honest, he was already embarrassed enough now. However, he couldn't care so much anymore. He wanted to kill the other party. However, at this moment, a voice came from the void. 14th uncle, why are you angry with him? Doesn't he want to fight? I'll fight him fairly. When the voice came out, it resounded between heaven and earth, carrying with it a mysterious power. Hearing this, the primordial king of the Silver Clan stopped. The others also frowned. Who was this person? So powerful. Could it be that another powerhouse of the Silver Clan had come? The primordial elites were also shocked. It's him? Did he come out of seclusion? Who are you? Lin Xian also frowned and looked at the sky. In the sky, countless rays of silver light appeared, forming a hazy figure standing there. Looking at the other party's appearance, he seemed to be a young man. My name is Baiqian Shan, and I'm from the younger generation of the Silver Clan. You dared to kill my brother and humiliate the Silver Clan. I won't let you go. I'm from the younger generation. I'm not bullying you if I have a fair fight with you, right? The young man's voice was cold. Lin Xian sneered. A young prodigy of the Silver Clan? Get over here, and I'll suppress you with one hand. The golden light on his body shot up into the sky like a peerless demon. Kid, you're arrogant, but you'll regret it. My strength is not something that my foolish younger brother can compare to. You can fight me if you want, but not now. 1 month. 1 month later, we'll have a fair fight. I'll kill you with my own hands. After talking for so long, you still can't come out. Lin Xian sneered. Fine, I'll wait for you for a month. 1 month later, I'll take your head off in front of the whole world. At the end of his words, 2 rays of light shot out from his eyes and turned into a golden dragon that shot up into the sky. The silver figure was smashed into pieces. Everyone was shocked. It seemed that the person who came out was an even more terrifying genius of the Silver Clan. However, it seemed that Lin Xian was not afraid at all. In fact, he smashed the other party's phantom directly. After doing all this, Lin Xian stared at the primordial king of the Silver Clan and said coldly, Old thing, you'd better be polite when you see me in the future. Otherwise, I'll tear your mouth apart. Chapter 2895. Kid, keep being stubborn. The primordial king of the Baiyin tribe was trembling with anger. However, since the prodigy of their tribe had decided to make a move on him a month later, no matter what, he would not make a move. Kid, I'll let you jump around for another month. A month later, you'll die a horrible death. After saying that, the primordial king of the Baiyin tribe left quickly. Light flickered on his face as his broken face and missing teeth grew back. He did not dare to stay here any longer. Otherwise, he would go crazy from anger. Phew! He was finally gone. The humans heaved a sigh of relief. A terrifying primordial king had left just like that. Lin Xian was really strong. Yes, he dared to face the primordial king head-on and not be at a disadvantage. He even slapped the king of Thailand. How domineering. Do you want to continue fighting? After seeing the primordial king of the Baiyin tribe leave, Lin Xian looked at the surrounding prodigies. Those prodigies froze. What kind of joke is this? Continue fighting? The other party was so strong that they would not dare to make a move even if they were beaten to death. Therefore, those prodigies snorted coldly. Kid, I'll see how you die in a month's time. That's right. Just you wait. You'll definitely be killed. Those prodigies also said a few words and left quickly. You're leaving just like that? Do you want to stew, all of you? Bring more companions next time. Otherwise, there won't be enough to eat. The crimson dragon stood at the back and waved its claws as it spoke. Hearing that, those primordial creatures almost fell from the sky. They hurriedly fled. Damn, he's a terrifying glutton. He even dares to eat the corpse of a dragon, let alone ours. After seeing all the primordial creatures leave, the humans heaved a sigh of relief. Many of them cheered. God Lin Xian, you're so powerful. All hail the god. God Lin Xian, can I ask you some questions about cultivation? Many people were envious. Among them, a beautiful woman asked softly. She was very nervous, and the light on her body swayed, showing her uneasiness. Lin Xian smiled and nodded. Sure, I'll help you as long as I can. That's great. The woman hurriedly asked some questions about swordsmanship. She said, from the 13th to the 14th sword, 14th move. God Lin Xian, can you help me? After looking through it, he began to give pointers. The route is a little slow and the timing is? You can change your route 2 seconds in advance. After hearing that, the primordial king tried, as expected, Lin Su. Great. God Lin Xian's Lin Xian, she's she. It was the same for the others. It was as if they had been injected with chicken blood as they screamed crazily, seeking guidance. About 2 hours later, Lin Xian left with the crowd. Those martial artists liked it very much. Great God Lin Xian was so approachable. Yes, as one of the top 5 prodigies, he actually gave us pointers. The god is too powerful. He can see through our problems at a glance. I'll be a loyal follower of God Lin Xian from now on. These people were all influenced by Lin Xian. Lin Xian was powerful, protected the human race, and had a good personality. He was even willing to give them pointers. He's a perfect top prodigy. Let's go. Lin Xian smiled. We can take a look around Water Moon City. I remember there are a few ancient stone workshops in Water Moon City. We can go and cut some stones. Hearing this, the Crimson Dragon became interested. The followers behind him were also excited. I heard that apart from his powerful combat strength, God Lin Xian is also an expert in spirit seeking. I remember that the Mophead family was defeated by God Lin Xian. These people were discussing animatedly. Finally, I can broaden my horizons again. Lin Xian walked forward. There was a very large, primeval stone workshop in the Mysterious Stones Pavilion. It was supported by the Great Xia Dynasty and the Ninely Dynasty, so it could be said to be very famous. Seeing a group of people walking over, the elders in the Wonderful Stones Pavilion also walked out. When they saw Lin Xian, they all bowed and greeted him. The two elders were very polite. Lin Xian nodded slightly, then walked forward. His gaze swept across those strange stones. He pointed at a square stone and said, "How much is this?" This square stone was about 1/2 meter tall. It was covered with moss and looked very ordinary. However, Lin Xian hit the nail on the head. The others were also discussing, wanting to see the secret behind it. Lord Lin has protected the human race and repelled the dark turmoil. We can't be more grateful. Why would we take your money? How about this? We'll give this stone to Lord Lin. That's not very good. Lin Xian shook his head. Elder Zhang said it's nothing. If it weren't for Lord Lin, we would have become slaves of the 10,000 ancient races by now. Giving you a stone is really not enough to express our gratitude. I hope Lord Lin won't mind. All right then. Seeing that the other party insisted, Lin Xian couldn't refuse. He waved his hand, and the square stone came in front of him. He used his fingers like a knife, and his fingers were like lightning as he quickly cut it. Pieces of stone skin were torn off and fell. When it was the size of a football, he cut it with a knife, and the sky immediately flickered with light. There's really something. I told you how powerful is Lin Xian. How could he make a mistake? Previously, they thought that Lin Xian had chosen the wrong stone because it was too ordinary. However, it seemed that Lin Xian had his reasons for choosing this stone. The great god was indeed the great god. More and more light filled the sky, and even the air became hot. Everyone activated their king's domains to protect themselves. What is that thing? It's too terrifying. Yeah. Why do I feel like it's a flame? It's too hot. Even the expressions of the two elders changed. To be honest, they didn't pay much attention to the stone before. In their opinion, even if there was something in the stone, it wouldn't be anything good. However, at this moment, they realized that they were wrong. There was definitely a wondrous treasure inside. Otherwise, it wouldn't be able to emit such light and aura. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and patiently cut the stone bit by bit. After the last cut, a roar sounded. A red flaming bird soared into the sky and bloomed with divine light. Then it disappeared from the world. Is that a phoenix? No, it's not a phoenix. It's a vermilion bird, a terrifying divine beast. Could it be a vermilion bird inside? They were extremely surprised. Soon, they saw that it wasn't a vermilion bird. The two elders also cried out in surprise. What's that? The vermilion bird stone. Indeed, there was a fist-sized stone inside. It was as red as blood and had a scorching temperature. The vermilion bird stone was a stone that contained a strange flame. It was rumored to be related to the vermilion bird and was very rare. It could be said that even invincible kings would be jealous of it. Even some saints were looking for it. Chapter 2896. He didn't expect that Lin Xian would be able to cut out such a precious item from the stone. Lin Xian was also very satisfied. The vermilion bird stone? Not bad, not bad. I just happened to need this kind of fire tribute item. If he wanted to cultivate the 9-yang divine body, he would probably have to find a few strange flames in the world to refine it. Only then would he be able to continue cultivating the 9-yang divine body. This vermilion bird stone contained a type of flame. Perhaps it could be refined into vermilion bird fire. It was indeed beneficial for him to cultivate the 9-yang divine body. Not only could the 9-yang divine body be improved, but the power inside could also improve the great dragon sword soul. Therefore, Lin Xian flipped his palm and accepted it without hesitation. However, after thinking about it, he raised his head and said to the 2 elders, the 3rd stone in the row in front, the round stone over there, and the stone with 9 holes under my feet, "Be careful. There might be something incredible inside." "What? Something incredible?" The 2 elders were shocked. Then, their faces were filled with gratitude. "Thank you for your reminder, Hall Master Lin." They were simply too excited. After all, they had already witnessed Lin Xian's capabilities. He could cut out the vermilion bird stone with a casual glance. The 3 stones that he reminded them of must be very precious. It was definitely not inferior to the vermilion bird stone. It seemed that they had done the right thing by giving Lin Xian a stone. Next, Lin Xian didn't make any more moves. Instead, he left the mystic stone pavilion and walked elsewhere. Along the way, he encountered elixir stores and weapon stores. In short, everyone wanted to invite him over. Some people even gave him elixirs and weapons to thank him. After all, Lin Xian had saved the entire human race. Awesome. This feeling was just too awesome. The Crimson Dragon was also very excited. Because he followed Lin Xian, he was also treated very well. Lin Xian was very humble. This was because he was originally a member of the human race. Therefore, it was his duty to protect the human race. Moreover, he wasn't the only one who stopped the Dark Faction's chaos that day. His father Lin Zhan, Xiajiao Lord Alcohol, Demon Lord, Life Saintess, and the Blue Saber Sage. All of them had participated. Even the saints of the major saint sects had put in some effort. Therefore, he could not take all the credit for himself. However, he had indeed made a great contribution. The gratitude of the humans towards him made him feel very warm. When he saw Ruzalong standing there, he was very excited. Lin Xian glanced at him. "Why? Does it feel good to be respected by others? Do you want to have this feeling forever?" Of course he wanted to, but he probably wouldn't have the chance in the future. The 10,000 ancient races weren't fools. They definitely wouldn't allow another dark upheaval to occur in the near future. The Crimson Dragon asked doubtfully. Lin Xian laughed. "What do you mean by instigating a dark upheaval? You're a mystical dragon after all. The dragon blood flowing in your body isn't any weaker than the dragon races. I reckon you'll be able to compete with that Dragon Crown Prince. Should he kill the Dragon Prince, we'll unify the dragon race, then lead the dragon race to unify the myriad ancient races." Hearing this, the Crimson Dragon was shocked. "Kid, I didn't expect you to have such ambitions and ideas. Although I like it, it's definitely impossible. If we kill the Dragon Prince, the entire nest of 10,000 dragons would probably go crazy. At that time, they would probably carry extreme weapons and hunt us down all over the world." The Crimson Dragon didn't want to do such a stupid thing. "I was just suggesting an idea, but there's actually something that you're afraid of." Lin Xian laughed. At the same time, he said doubtfully, "I'm very curious. Logically speaking, the nest of 10,000 dragons should be the gathering place of all the dragons in the world, but you don't belong to the nest of 10,000 dragons. Moreover, you're not sealed. Then where did you come from? Where are the people of the mystical dragon bloodline? It can't be that you're the only one left, right? Also, what's the relationship between the mystical dragon bloodline and the nest of 10,000 dragons? Haven't you thought about these?" Lin Xian asked. The Crimson Dragon sighed. "I don't know. I don't have any memories of this." The Crimson Dragon really doesn't know. He also doesn't know what relationship he has with the nest of 10,000 dragons. As for the mystical dragon bloodline, it seems that he's the only one left. Lin Xian continued to ask, "Then, other than the nest of 10,000 dragons and the mystical dragon bloodline? Are there any other races in the dragon race? How did you guys split them? He wasn't very clear about the branches of the dragon race. The Crimson Dragon said, "There must be a lot, but most of them belong to the nest of 10,000 dragons. Maybe my mystical dragon bloodline used to belong to the nest of 10,000 dragons. But I don't know why we came out." The Crimson Dragon wasn't too clear about this. Lin Xian said, "It's not a big deal. Don't worry, if there's a chance, we can still kill the Dragon Prince." His eyes lit up, and the people around him felt their scalps go numb. However, Lin Xian didn't explain anything. He knew that he was going to march towards the path of the Great Emperor, and the other party's Dragon Prince would definitely take this path. Both sides would definitely have a fight in the future. Only one person could survive, so killing the Dragon Crown Prince was something he had to do. More importantly, the Crimson Dragon wasn't weaker than the Dragon Prince. The great dragon, sword soul in his body, was also related to the dragon race. Moreover, it was rumored that the great dragon sword soul was transformed from an ancestral dragon, and its level is probably much higher than the Dragon Prince. It might even be stronger than the Dragon Emperor. Therefore, Lin Xian's idea of attacking the nest of 10,000 dragons and even the entire dragon race wasn't whimsical. However, this matter had to be done slowly. At least, with his current strength, it wasn't enough to fight against the entire nest of 10,000 dragons. While Lin Xian was strolling around Watermoon City, in another place, this was a clean land with fiery red mountain peaks densely packed together. There were many volcanoes erupting, and the magma was very terrifying. It could even turn an invincible king into ashes. This was the place where the Fire Qilin Cave existed. At this moment, the ancient kings and sages in the Fire Qilin Cave were extremely nervous. In front of them stood a young man in a flame robe. The young man had a handsome face and fair skin, like a woman. Flames burned on his body. On his body, there was the mark of a fire Qilin that covered half of his body. He was very mighty and extraordinary. His identity was shocking because he was the son of the Qilin Emperor, the Qilin Crown Prince. His status and bloodline weren't any weaker than the Dragon Prince of the dragon race. Beside him, divine crystal fragments were scattered all over the ground. Obviously, this Qilin Crown Prince had just broken out of the seal of the divine crystal. Sure enough, countless ancient creatures knelt in front of him and paid their respects to the Qilin Crown Prince. Get up. The Qilin Crown Prince was expressionless. The Qilin pattern on his body was swaying and shining. It was as if he had come to life. With a wave of his hand, all the ancient creatures were dragged up. Crown Prince, you have just recovered and are still very weak. We have already prepared the 3-colored divine fire. You can recuperate inside. A few ancient sages quickly formed hand seals. The ground in front of them cracked open and a divine pit appeared. Chapter 2897. In the deep pit, there were 3 balls of flames dancing and intertwining with each other, emitting a terrifying aura. However, the Qilin race was born for sex. The more powerful the flame, the more energy it could provide them. Therefore, the Qilin Crown Prince nodded and waved his hand. The 3-colored divine flame enveloped him. "All right, I'll cultivate for a while." The Qilin Crown Prince said in a deep voice, "There's one more thing that my father said when he sealed me. When I broke out of the seal, it would be the time for the Sky Flame City to descend." Heavenly Flame City was a mysterious city. It contained incomparably terrifying flames. Even great emperors were unable to completely see through its secrets. "I won't go to the Sky Flame City this time, but there's something inside that you must bring out for me. Don't worry, Crown Prince will arrange it." Hearing this, the Qilin Crown Prince nodded. "There's no need to keep this news a secret. It's best to let the whole world know. Let the 10,000 ancient races and the human race enter." This is what my father wants. Yes, we know. Although the ancient saints were confused, they knew that the Qilin king must have his reasons for doing so. Although the Qilin king had been dead for tens of thousands of years, the other party's arrangements were definitely exquisite. They had to abide by it. Above the endless nine heavens, the void cracked open and countless flames danced. A huge shadow fell. It was as if it was going to crush the whole world. At this moment, all the living beings in the true spirit world felt it. Whether it was the 10,000 ancient races or the human race, they all looked up at the sky with fear. Especially the human race, they screamed. No way! Could it be that the ancient race army is coming again? This scene was extremely similar to a year ago when the 10,000 ancient races started the dark turmoil. What's going on? Even the elders, sect leaders, and sacred lords of the sacred grounds looked up. Their gazes turned into lightning, piercing through the void. In the Water Moon City, the human race warriors held their breaths and felt their scalps go numb. Not good. Run. The dark army is coming again. Damn it, the darkness is moving. Is it going to happen again? The Crimson God was shocked. Damn, it can't be for real, right? Wasn't it just killing a few of their sky prides? It wasn't like they hadn't killed human sky prides before. Lin Xian also frowned. This shouldn't be the case. What were the 10,000 ancient races doing? Could it be that they really wanted to start a war? Damn it, there are still some primeval life forms in this city, right? If there really is a dark rebellion, I'll beat them to death first. Many human warriors gritted their teeth in anger. There were still some ancient creatures left in Water Moon City. At this moment, they were also dumbfounded. That's not right. It's none of our business. It's impossible for us to have a great, dark upheaval. This is not our aura. They roared crazily. As expected, golden runes appeared in Lin Xian's eyes as he looked up with his heavenly secret, divine eyes. He said, "Everyone, don't be rash. This is not the dark turmoil of the ancient creatures. It should be something else." The moment these words came out, the martial artists in Water Moon City felt much more at ease. In other places, the sacred leaders and sect masters also spoke out to calm the martial artists of their holy lands. On the other side, the 10,000 ancient races were also shocked. What was going on? What had happened? They all thought that the human race had attacked. However, after looking for a long time, they realized that it was not the human race, but a huge city. It was an incomparably huge city that stretched as far as the eye could see. Heavens, is this an immortal palace? Did it fall from the sky? They were incomparably excited. The human warriors were also amazed. Could it be the legendary southern Heavenly Gate and Heavenly Court? That was something from myths and legends. In the nest of 10,000 dragons, amidst the endless dragon chi, the dragon-crowned prince opened his eyes. His body was stronger than before. It was obvious that his strength was increasing. He was growing rapidly. At this moment, a hint of shock appeared in his golden eyes. Sky Flame City had actually appeared. What? Sky Flame City appeared. The primeval saints were extremely shocked. They had heard that Sky Flame City was incomparably mysterious. Even their dragon emperor could not see through it. One could imagine how mysterious it was. There were many terrifying treasures inside, and it was said that Sky Flame City had an incomparably strange sky flame. This kind of flame was an incomparably mysterious energy. If one could refine it, one's strength would definitely increase. One had to know that they had many fire dragons on their side. Even if they were useless, it was still very good for tempering one's physique. Therefore, the primeval saints in the nest of 10,000 dragons were extremely excited. Not only that, but the divine Phoenix Ridge was the same. A beautiful woman opened her eyes. Her beautiful eyes flickered with a strange light. Beside her was a strange, 5-colored flame that formed a pair of wings that wrapped around her body. Only a hazy figure was left behind. She was the princess of the divine Phoenix Ridge, the daughter left behind by the immortal phoenix. Sky Flame City It was actually Sky Flame City. They must obtain the Sky Flame inside. Princess, don't worry, we will do our best to obtain it. In addition, the people in the Fire Qilin Cave were even more excited. The ancient emperor's speculation was right. After their Qilin crown prince broke the seal, Sky Flame City had descended. It seemed that that thing was destined to belong to them. In addition to the three royal families, the other primeval saints and the other primeval saints were also extremely excited. As long as they could enter the legendary and mysterious Sky Flame City, they would definitely be able to obtain heaven-defying treasures. For a time, the 10,000 ancient races were ready to make a move. The human race was also in an uproar. The Yi family, the Gu family, the Queen Mother of the West, and the others were also flipping through ancient books and asking the saints and elders in the group. Finally, they also found out. This was the legendary Sky Flame City. There might be a strange treasure inside. For a time, the human race was also excited. In Water Moon City, Lin Xian activated the array formation and sent a voice transmission to Li Xuanxian, the chief guardian, and the others. He was asking about this matter. Soon he narrowed his eyes. From the array formation, he learned that this city was called Sky Flame City. It was an incomparably mysterious existence. Rumor had it that there was an incomparably terrifying sky flame inside. Its power was boundless. Sky Flame? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He was really looking forward to it. To be honest, he originally needed some strange flames to temper his 9-yang divine body. He didn't expect that after he had just obtained the Vermilion Bird Stone, another Sky Flame City would appear. Moreover, there was a rumored mysterious sky flame inside. If he could enter, his 9-yang divine body would be able to quickly improve. It could even increase the power of the great dragon sword soul. This was killing many birds with one stone. How could he not be moved? The world was abuzz with discussion. Lin Xian was also preparing to return to the Immortal Palace to discuss with the chief guardian, elderly, and the others. They wanted to see how to enter the Sky River City that had suddenly appeared. Chapter 2898. The Crimson Dragon began to set up an array formation. The two of them tore through the void and teleported away from Watermoon City. They returned to the Immortal Palace. At the same time, the sages of the Fire Qilin Cave also began to work together to spread the news. After all, the ancient emperor had already deduced this matter, so they knew a little more. They first contacted the nest of 10,000 dragons and the divine Phoenix Ridge. The three ancient royal families also joined forces to advance together. Of course, this time, the Fire Qilin Cave also contacted the Yi family, the Gu family, the Jade Lake Sacred Ground, and other top sacred grounds of the human race. They wanted to join forces with them. This scene surprised the Gu family and the Yi family. When did these 10,000 ancient races become so kind? Could it be that there was a trap? Who cares? They would make contact with the other party first. The Yi family, the Gu family, the Western Empress, and the others discussed and decided to take a look. Not only these sacred grounds, but all the sacred grounds and sects were alarmed. Eastern Wilderness, Western Desert, Southern Ridge, Northern Plains, Middle Ground, and all the major factions came out together to explore. The Immortal Palace was naturally no exception. However, this matter was left to Li Xuanxian, the chief guardian, and the others. Lin Xian decided to absorb the energy in the Vermilion Bird Stone first. After all, entering Heavenly Flame City would definitely be unavoidable. At that time, there would be a shocking battle. The most important thing was to increase his strength first. Moreover, he didn't forget that he still had a battle with the top prodigy of the Silver Race in a month. Lin Xian currently had 35,000 arcane power in his normal state. If he fully unleashed the 9-yang divine body and the great dragon sword soul, he could reach 40,000 arcane power. Lin Xian formed a hand seal and channeled the flames in the Vermilion Bird Stone. turning it into a vermilion bird phantom that devoured him. As for him, he used the cultivation method of the 9-yang divine body and began to cultivate. At the same time, a mysterious dragon-shaped sword shadow flew out of his body and stood in the void, absorbing the energy as well. After 10 days, Lin Xian opened his eyes. The fist-sized vermilion birdstone was dim and covered in cracks. When the last bit of energy was absorbed, the vermilion birdstone exploded and turned into a useless rock. The water fell to the ground. Lin Xian ignored him and opened his eyes. He felt his power, and a smile appeared on his face. This was great. His power of the ancient era had increased by 1,000 strands. Even though it was only 1,000 units of archean power, even the top geniuses would have to spend a lot of time and effort to increase it. He might even have to go into seclusion for a year, consume some heavenly treasures, or make a breakthrough in a top-notch divine ability. It could be said that this was not a simple matter. Now that Lin Xian had absorbed the vermilion birdstone, the power of his great dragon sword soul and 9-yang divine body had increased. In a mere 10 days, his power of the Archean era had increased by 1,000, and his strength had become tyrannical once again. What's going on outside? Lin Xian asked after coming out of seclusion. The Fire Qilin Cave has joined forces with the Divine Phoenix Ridge, the nest of 10,000 dragons and the royal clan, to join forces with the great sects of the sacred lands on our side to investigate Heaven Flame City. One of the elders quickly reported. Hearing this, Lin Xian frowned. Investigate the 10,000 ancient races together? When did the other party become so kind? Why did he not dare to think about it? There couldn't be a trap, right? The Crimson Dragon beside him also said that it was probably a trap to kill them. We were also very suspicious, but we still went forward. It seemed that there were no traps at the moment. The elder quickly said, "How long would it take to open?" Lin Xian asked. Even if there was a trap, he had to go in and obtain the legendary Heaven Flame. It would take about a month or 2. According to the powerhouses of the Fire Qilin Cave, the descent of Heaven Flame City was unstable, and they had to wait until it stabilized before they could enter. It seemed that the Fire Qilin Cave knew more. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Indeed, it seemed that the nest of 10,000 dragons and the Divine Emperor Ridge didn't know as much as they did. The elder also nodded. This news came from Li Xuanxian, the chief guardian, and the others. Interesting. I want to see what this Fire Qilin Cave is up to. Lin Xian said. Continue to pay attention. When it opens, let me know. Yes. The elder respectfully nodded and then turned to leave. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. There were still more than 10 days before the battle with the guy from the Silver Clan. Peacock, he shouted coldly again. The void in front of him broke open, and a beautiful woman knelt on the ground with one knee. Palace Master, how was the investigation of Bai Qianshan? How was his strength? It had been investigated. He was a peerless genius of the Silver Clan and was very powerful. It was said that he was the 10th generation grandson. The power of his bloodline was extremely terrifying. 10th generation grandson? What the hell? Lin Xian frowned. He had only been in seclusion for 10 days, and there was a new title. Peacock quickly explained that Bai Qianshan was the 10th generation grandson of the Silver Clan's old ancestor. In short, he was the 10th generation grandson. This old ancestor was an extremely terrifying existence in the Sage Realm. Therefore, his 10th generation grandson's bloodline power was extremely terrifying. So that's how it was. Seeing that Peacock was hesitating, Lin Xian asked, "Is there anything else?" "Speak." Peacock nodded and said quickly, "It was like this. 3 days ago, Bai Qianshan came out of seclusion. He challenged an invincible king of the human race, who was a swordsman. He was called the Wild Swordsman King. His strength was extremely terrifying. His Wild Swordsman King's Wild Swordsman King could destroy heaven and earth. He was also very famous among the invincible kings. However, he was easily defeated by Chen Shan. That battle could be said to be very tragic. The wild swordsman king was almost beaten up. Hearing this, Lin Xian raised his eyebrows and asked, what was the strength of the wild swordsman king? About 30,000 Archean force. 30,000 Archean force was indeed quite impressive. However, what surprised him was that Chen Shan was able to beat up an invincible king with 30,000 Archean force. This meant that his strength was at least 33,000 Archean force. At least it could be higher. Interesting. Lin Xian nodded slightly. I hope he won't disappoint me. Palace Master, there's one more thing. Peacock continued. Lin Xian was surprised. What's the matter? Speak. It's like this. Today, Chen Shan challenged an eminent monk of the Western Desert. It was said that this eminent monk was stronger than the wild swordsman king. According to calculations, he had 35,000 Archean force. 35,000 Archean force. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes, and a piercing sword light bloomed in his eyes. Currently, in his normal state, he only had 36,000 Archean force. In other words, this eminent monk of the Western Desert was about the same as him in his normal state. Did he go to the Western Desert to fight? Can you use a formation to teleport the battle here? Lin Xian asked in a deep voice. Yes, Palace Master. I'll send someone to prepare it. Peacock's figure flashed, and like a ghost, she disappeared into the void. Not long after, a light screen appeared above the starry hall. It was very large, and it covered the entire space. Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon raised their heads and looked at the sky. On the light screen, the sky was filled with yellow sand, and there were countless shining Buddhist lights, as well as towering temples. It seemed that they were in the Western Desert. Chapter 2899. There were countless people around. They should be the martial artists who had gone to the Western Desert to watch the battle. Of course, there were also many Archean creatures. The most eye-catching were two people. One of them was an old monk in a kasaya. His face was calm, and there was no sadness or joy. He wore a string of Buddhist beads around his neck and a string of Buddhist beads in his hand. He was slowly turning them. Opposite him was a tall young man. His body was covered in silver light, forming a monstrous armor that covered the sky. He looked like a god fiend. The aura emitted from his body seemed to be able to suppress the world. That should be Chen Shan, the 10th generation grandchild of the primordial ancestor of the Silver Tribe. Old monk, I advise you to surrender obediently and admit defeat. If you do, I can spare your life. In front of him, the Silver God of War, Chen Shan, said coldly. Around him, the void was rapidly collapsing. How dare you? Who do you think you are? How dare you ask our elder to surrender? That's right, my martial uncle's magic power is monstrous. How can he lose to you? The old monk was an eminent monk of the Putua Temple. At this moment, the monks of the Putua Temple all shouted angrily, Amitabha, little benefactor, if you have any tricks up your sleeve, just use them. The eminent monk in front of him also shouted in a deep voice, Old man, since you want to die, then don't blame me. Chen Shan took a step forward, and the aura on his body suddenly erupted. Silver runes spun around him, turning into 360 vortexes that crazily absorbed the surrounding spiritual energy. Die! With a roar, a silver fist punched out. The 360 vortexes jumped together, and a terrifying and violent power surged forward. What a terrifying fist! What a terrifying power! The surrounding martial artists who were watching the battle trembled. In front of the starry hall, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. That punch contained at least 30,000 Archean force. Chen Shan was really impressive. A casual attack was already so terrifying. He was not the only one. The other sacred grounds and sects were also watching through the array formation. When the older generation experts saw the scene, they could not help but tremble. A casual punch could kill an ordinary invincible king. Bai Qianshan's strength had increased again. Rumor had it that he was the 10th generation grandchild. Was he already so terrifying? If he was the 2nd or 1st generation grandchild, how terrifying would he be? The talents and bloodlines of the 10,000 ancient races are too heaven-defying. It's not easy for the human race to grow. These elders felt their scalps go numb. Fortunately, the 10,000 ancient races had gone into hibernation during the primordial era. Otherwise, the human race would probably still be their slaves. Facing this shocking punch, Pu Shan's eyelids twitched slightly. Although the other party was young, his strength was too terrifying. Wang! He roared angrily, and endless Buddhist light burst out from his eyes. A large hand stretched out. Symbols flickered in the sky, forming a golden mountain that slammed forward. This scene also caused the human race cultivators to exclaim in surprise. This was because the power of the Buddha's palm was not the slightest bit weaker than the silver fist. However, the experts of the older generation sighed. This was because Pu Shan was an invincible king of the older generation who had lived for nearly 2,000 years. Although this Bai Qianshan was also someone from the primordial era, he had been sealed in ice all this time. His true age was very young, probably not more than 100 years old. However, the two of them were actually evenly matched. This meant that their opponent's talent and bloodline far surpassed Pu Shan's. This was not something worthy of celebration. The golden palm and the silver fist collided in the sky, setting off a storm that filled the sky. The surrounding crowd quickly retreated, their faces filled with horror. This shocking battle was too powerful. Amitabha. Pu Shan chanted Buddhist scriptures again. The golden palm flashed, as if it was going to seal the silver fist. Old man, you still want to seal me? Go to hell. Stars in the sky. Bai Qianshan let out a long roar. The silver light on his body was incomparably dazzling. It turned into one huge star after another in the sky, bringing with it a terrifying power as it fell from the sky. It slammed into the golden palm and pierced through it. What? It broke. It broke the Buddha's palm. The martial artists were shocked, especially the monks. Their faces were filled with horror. The golden palm was incomparably powerful. It was impossible to break it. It was called the Buddha's hand. Yet now it was actually shattered into pieces by Chu Feng. This was something that they did not dare to believe. Damn it! Has the other party become so strong? They felt a chill in their hearts. The powerhouses from the sacred grounds, who were watching the battle from afar, were also shocked. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. That attack just now should be the other party's ultimate move. It was very powerful. It seemed that the other party had the right to be arrogant. Flower blooms. Pu Shan roared. Behind him, endless Buddhist light rolled and condensed into a Buddhist flower. The Buddhist flower was extremely pure, like a celestial flower from the immortal world. Open. With a roar, the golden flower slowly spread out. Accompanying it was a terrifying aura that seemed to tear the whole world apart. The surrounding people's hearts beat wildly and their faces changed drastically. Not good. Retreat quickly. This was a Buddhist grand magic. The martial artists and primordial creatures who were watching the battle fled madly. The surrounding void was quickly shattered. It could not withstand the power of the flower. Boom! Boom! In the sky, countless silver stars exploded with a loud bang. Bai Qianshan's pupils shrank. He did not expect the old monk to have such a grand magic. If the golden flower fully bloomed, it would pose a threat to his life. Get lost! In the next moment, he roared. Silver Spear Rage God! Go to hell! The vast silver stars turned into a silver domain. This was the other party's king domain. The silver domain spun rapidly and formed a silver spear. It was like the spear of a god descending from the sky. With one strike, the mountains and rivers shattered and the earth cracked. A huge crack that was tens of thousands of miles wide appeared in the void and spread into the distance. This spear was too terrifying. Its target was the golden flower behind Pu-shan. The golden flower had 6 petals, and 3 of them had already bloomed. The shocking power had already shocked everyone. Even Bai Qianshan had to treat it seriously. When the 4th petal bloomed, the silver spear finally collided with the golden flower. The 2 of them exploded with destructive energy. Not good. Pu-shan's pupils shrank. A hint of shock appeared in his eyes. This spear was too terrifying. It actually shook his golden flower. This golden flower was also condensed from his king's domain, and it was also an extremely powerful Buddhist sect divine ability. When all 6 petals bloomed, it could definitely destroy everything. However, he had only bloomed the 4th flower. There were still 2 more flowers to bloom. With a roar, he continued to use the Buddhist Dharma to make the 5th petal bloom. An even more terrifying power came from the golden flower, causing everyone to be terrified. Bai Qianshan snorted. "Old man, you have no chance. Die." Chapter 2900. The Fury God was slashing. In the next moment, countless silver runes flickered in his body, and an even more terrifying power burst out. Then, a silver phantom rose from his body. It was a few hundred feet tall. It turned into a silver giant. With a roar, it grabbed the long spear formed by the king's domain. Kill! An astonishing murderous aura burst out, and its power increased explosively. Not good. The power of the bloodline. This was the power of the bloodline of the 10th generation grandson. It was too terrifying. The surrounding human martial artists screamed crazily. The monks of Putua Temple also exclaimed, "Elder, be careful!" The primordial being of the Argent clan revealed a sinister smile. It was useless. Once the power of the 10th generation grandson's bloodline was activated, no one could stop it. How could that old man possibly block such power? Boom! Boom! The Fury God's roar was earth-shattering. Cracks began to appear on the golden flower behind the Bodhisattva. Then it exploded, turned into spiritual energy and dissipated. Pu-shan kept retreating, spitting out large mouthfuls of blood. A few cracks also appeared on his body. It was very terrifying. Blood flowed down his cracks and dyed his body red. He was injured. Pu-shan was injured. Everyone was horrified. They did not expect that such a terrifying Buddhist monk would be injured. Could it be that Pu-shan was going to be defeated? Pu-shan also roared angrily. A golden will rushed out of his body and spun rapidly like a sun. However, Bai Qianshan laughed sinisterly. "Ha ha ha ha! Old monk, you don't have a chance. From the moment you met me, you were destined to lose. Now, kneel in front of me and admit defeat." Following his words, the silver giant in the sky held the Fury God's spear in his hand and attacked again. The spear blasted the golden wheel away and pierced through Pu-shan's body. Poof! He was nailed to the ground. Clang! The golden wheel fell to the ground, and blood dyed the ground red. The Buddhist light in the sky disappeared. "No, elder!" The monks of Putua Temple screamed crazily. They could not accept that their elder and invincible king had been defeated by the other party. Moreover, he was seriously injured. The other martial artists who were watching the battle were also shocked. Many of them were so shocked that they almost fainted. He was too powerful. Although the other party was from the younger generation, he had defeated many invincible kings. The experts from the various sacred grounds and sects were equally shocked. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. The archaic creatures sneered again and again. "With just this bit of strength, you want to compete with us? Humans, you're just lucky." If it weren't for the accident last time, this world would have long been ruled by us. Even if we coexist now, you are still no match for us. It won't be long before you'll have to crawl at our feet. Damn it, let's fight. Many monks of Putuwa Temple shouted angrily. 16 of them quickly rushed out. The Buddhist light in each of their hands transformed into a golden rod, forming an Arhut formation. Since he dared to injure my elder, let's suppress him together. The young man in the lead was Putuwa Temple's holy son. He took the lead to set up the Arhut formation. Within the formation, an Arhut rose from the ground. It was also several hundred feet tall. The golden staff in his hand smashed towards the silver giant. With a boom, the silver giant's body emitted an earth-shaking sound and the silver light dimmed. On the other side, Bai Qianshan's expression was ferocious. Ignorant ant, you've completely infuriated me. Raging deity, roar! With a roar, the silver spear turned into a silver dragon again and pierced through the Arhut. The spear fell and the Arhut formation shattered. The 16 Putuwa temple geniuses vomited blood and were sent flying. Ants will always be ants. Do you think that with so many ants you can shake a dragon? How laughable! Bai Qianshan snorted coldly, and the silver giant returned to his body. The spears that filled the sky also turned into a king's domain and were put away by him. In this life, you will be trampled under my feet. You won't be able to raise your heads. I won't kill you because the taste of defeat is worse than death. Bai Qianshan sneered, turned around, and stepped into the air. Let's go and find the next opponent. When the archaic creatures heard this, they hurriedly followed. The last archaic creature turned its head and looked at the dumbfounded human martial artists with a sneer. Humans, get ready to crawl under our feet. Ha ha ha. At this moment, everyone fell silent. He was too strong. Even a powerful senior monk like Pushan had been defeated. How many people could be his opponent? Most likely, only a peak-level genius like Leaf Daudenier would be able to stand up to him. Perhaps only the most terrifying elders of the older generation would be able to subdue them. Damn it, the 10,000 archaic races are really sick. The Silver Clan was not a royal family, but a royal family. Yet they could produce such a terrifying figure. Many people gritted their teeth, unable to accept this. Some people sighed. There was nothing they could do. Bai Qianshan had a good life. Who asked him to have such a strong bloodline? Moreover, he was the 10th generation descendant. With such a bloodline inheritance, even if he did not cultivate it, he would probably be a peerless expert in the future. Moreover, he was only the 10th generation descendant. Who knew how terrifying the first generation descendant would be? Don't talk about it. I'm about to despair. Don't forget that there are still princes and princesses among the 3 royal families. Those are the descendants of the great emperors. Their bloodlines are even more terrifying. They will probably become saints as soon as they are born. These people shook their heads and sighed, their faces full of despair. Facing the 10,000 archaic races, they felt a strong sense of powerlessness. Some people exclaimed, "If I remember correctly, Bai Qianshan will probably fight with Lin Xian in a few days." Now that you mention it, I really do remember. Back then, Lin Xian had killed Bai Qianshan's younger brother in a domineering manner. Bai Qianshan would definitely not let the matter rest. I wonder if Lin Xian will be able to contend against him. Definitely. He is our middle emperor, one of the top geniuses. He will definitely be able to contend against him. Not necessarily. Many people were pessimistic. Even Pushan's 35,000 archaic power couldn't defeat Bai Qianshan. They estimated that Bai Qianshan's archaic power should be 38,000 or higher. Lin Xian might not be able to contend against him. Could it be that Lin Xian was going to be defeated? These people's faces were filled with fear. If Lin Xian was defeated, the human race would probably not be able to accept it. After all, Lin Xian was their hope now. He was given the title of Middle Emperor and was one of the top geniuses of the human race. Moreover, during the Darkness Era, he had displayed unlimited combat strength and fused with his greater success divine body to suppress the chaos. To them, Lin Xian had become their pride. If Lin Xian was defeated, the impact they would receive would probably be 10 times or even 100 times greater. Damn it, these guys are too arrogant. Ben Huang couldn't help but want to attack. In the Starry Hall, the Crimson Dragon looked at the light screen and gritted his teeth. Why are you so arrogant? If you have the ability, fight with Ben Huang one-on-one. Recently, his strength had been growing rapidly. After all, he had refined the corpses and blood of the archaic geniuses that Lin Xian had killed. How could he not grow? You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.